his live streams here.
All right, guys, let's try it now. I don't have the microphone in. That should be better. Is that working? Just hit me up. Let me know if you guys hear me. Yes, it's working. All right, so not using this, of course. Nothing like a technology channel to screw up the technology. Unfortunately, we had like 50 people in here before it crapped out. But how's everybody doing? We got John Hooper in the house. We got Shamar, my man Shamar in there, Sony leather. We got PDG 187. Tariq, what's going on? John is in Vienna. My boy Terry is here. I don't know, Terry. You know, it's one of these Blue Yetis. It works fine, you know, whenever I do other live streams and even my own. But for some reason, when I schedule them, it doesn't let you customize the levels or anything once you're in it. But when I'm in like SteamYard, I can play with it all day. Thomas, what's happening? Shamar, what's going on? I know Shamar is excited to talk about the Sony lineup. And speaking of that, at 6 p.m., FOMO was actually going to have Robert and Dwayne on D-Nice to talk about the Z9J numbers debacle. So we'll have that on. Tony Soprano, what's going on? Aaron, what's happening? Thomas, what's up? David, how are you? Hold on before I get too far. My boy in Canada just said, hey, what's up? Yeah, Aaron, yeah, this is impromptu. I don't really schedule them. Whenever I schedule them, something goes wrong. We'd have a lot of people in here if I actually scheduled them, but it's a debacle. Benny, what's happening? Craig, how are you? How's everybody doing? For those of you that are joining the chat for the first time or these live streams with me, they're just community live streams. Meaning we just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. There's no reason for super chats or anything like that. We're not looking for anything like that. We're just here to catch up with you guys. I don't make nearly as much content as I'd like, so I definitely want to reconnect with you guys. We're supposed to have a hurricane here, basically, which hasn't shown up. So I was trying to squeeze this in. But, you know, talk about whatever you like. We'll start it off. You know, you guys want to talk about TVs? You want to talk about movies, shows, video games? What do you want to talk about? The Z9J. Shamar wants to start with the Z9J. The question I'm getting from everyone, because I was able to see it, was it as impressive as the Z9G? And honestly, the Z9G is perhaps more physically impressive because of its build. The build quality looks like a transformer. I mean, it's all metal. And by the time I saw the Z9G, it was very mature. And you're gonna hear me say that a lot because the Z9J, by the time I had seen it, it hadn't taken an update. It had taken an update during the video, and there were several updates for it left to take. So a lot of these panels you're seeing me do with Robert are right out of the box, and unfortunately, technology now needs to be updated several times before it shows you what it's gonna do. But I think the Z9J is gonna be a win. I do have some thoughts on why a lot of the other YouTubers, even the ones that I'm real close with, kind of dislike LEDs now. We're gonna talk about that in a little bit. But as I mentioned, FOMO's having a live stream at 6 o'clock with Robert. If you're interested in the numbers of the Z9J, the numbers that are, we had released some numbers. Apparently D-Nice had an issue with his comment and the numbers came out extremely high. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But he's going to do a whole stream with Robert and Dwayne. And there was just an error with the technology. The numbers are still very, very impressive. So we'll talk about that too. But we'll talk about whatever you want. So let me go back. I just missed somebody's Griffin. I really liked the X95, to be honest. And I will have the X95 65-inch. I'll have it here in 2 weeks. So I will have one. Robert was going to let me bring home the 75-inch X95, which I'd love to bring you guys, but the challenge with that is I don't want to take one that even you guys might buy. So there are customers out there. I hate taking things that he can't sell. So I really don't like doing that. So if I could have taken the Z9J home, but I don't want to hurt that business in that regard. I want to make sure if you guys like what I see and you want to buy it, they can't say, oh, I only had 3 and Brian took 1 home. So I will have the X95 at 65 inches. I was very impressed with it. And to me, it reminded me very much of the excellent Z8H from last year. So it even looks just like it as far as the picture quality goes. Let's see. Hamad, will I prefer the Panasonic over the A90J? I would have to say no, honestly, because I haven't seen the Panasonic in person. And the reason why I say that, guys, is it's the same reason why you don't hear me recommending a ton of Hisense and TCL and those guys. I have to see it with my own eyes to truly be able to recommend it to you. I can know a good deal about it and recommend it. I think Panasonic is one of my favorite companies. They're not what they were, but the A90J I've spent a lot of time with, so I would still probably favor the A90J, especially since I'm in the heavyweight division. It means I'm at 83 inches now, so I'd have to go with that. Ben, I do think you're going to see that. You're going to see smaller OLEDs. OLEDs are permeating the market now. You're going to see them offer them, which is interesting, and I know Shamar will appreciate this, is that there's more OLEDs to choose from than high-end LEDs, especially from the big. And in regards to the highest end, you're seeing them be outnumbered. Sony A80J, A90J, A9S, AAH. Wow, they had the 950H, the X95, the X90. It seems like you're getting more OLEDs, which is why I think you're seeing a lot of people jump on the OLED bandwagon. That exact same thing happened with plasma. Everybody hated plasma. Plasma was way too expensive. And then all of a sudden, everybody and their mother loved plasma because plasma became somewhat affordable. So you're seeing that now with OLED. You have a lot of people that hated OLED for years that all of a sudden are absolutely in love with it. Shamar, you'll be impressed with it. Gildardo, how are you? Let's see. Aaron, Brian, you always say size over quality, usually. Would you ever consider a 75 R6, hi Sky, R6 35 over a 65-inch A80J dark basement? That's a hard one, Aaron, but I will tell you this, that and the size does matter to me anyway. Having my basement taken away from me for about 8 months, I've had to use a 55-inch TV and a 65-inch TV, and I hate it. So if it was me, I would have to go into the 75-inch R6, but it's not close as far as picture quality. The 80J is amazing, but the thing with the larger panels, just so much more immersive. So the only time that size beats quality is when the size is of good quality and the TCL really sneaks in there. And also, guys, if I miss any of your questions, again, there's no super chat needed or anything, just resubmit it. Let's see. Michael Neres, I am lazy and leave my TV on all the time, sometimes on pause on YouTube. Because of this, I'm scared of OLED burn-in. Am I overreacting? You're not. Burn-in is still a possibility. It still can happen. It's much more unlikely, but and I'm not going to say it's because you're lazy. A lot of people like to leave their technology on like that all the time. It's just not for you. It will burn in at some point. And you don't need it. It's just not something. You want to have something you can fall asleep to. And a lot of times the screensavers, you're going to have all that stuff kick in. But if it's something that you like to kind of beat up a little bit, it's not something I would recommend. You'll still get burned in. Brian T. Brian, I'm sorry I missed you at Value Electronics. I missed you by a few hours. I like the X95 a lot. Like I said, I'm going to have it home in a few weeks. I'll also have my TVs being delivered Thursday if we have no problems with this hurricane that's supposed to show up. So you'll see my TV here. The 900E is being donated to a family in need, so that TV is going to go. I have a dedication of that TV before it leaves. And I don't know, just good times as far as TVs, really good times as far as gaming. So Dutch guy, yes, is burn-in still a thing on the A80s? It's a thing on all OLEDs, actually, Dutch. The A80 seems to have a bit more image retention than other OLEDs that I've seen, but it doesn't last. It only lasts for a few seconds. So if you can be a little careful with it, for me, it's primarily mixing up your content, and you don't have to be so careful. It's just that what I do when I play games for a long time, Dutch, if that's what you, Dutch guy, if that's what you do, I tend to, like right now, my A80 was being used by my kids, and there's an OLED demo loop running on it just to kind of give it a pixel refresh. But it is still a thing. If you have maybe small kids, it might still not be for you. I can't tell you that it won't happen. It's not nearly as likely as it used to be. Shamar, D-Nice, and Robert are still good with me. Now you guys can see FOMO's going to do a video on D-Nice and Robert. D-Nice is basically legendary in the calibrating community. He knows what he's doing. Robert is very passionate. He's been in this business for so many years, and he's a dear friend of mine. It's not just about making mistakes. There's technical mistakes, there's misreads, there's calibration on equipment. I mean, D-Nice is not using his phone. This guy's using equipment that's like $30,000. And we'll do a video with D-Nice where I'm going to interview him. He's going to show me the equipment and his and the way he calibrates, real calibration, not some settings crap. And here's the funny thing is when those numbers came out, all of us were shocked. But if you look up Sony LED 10,000 nits, in 2018, CES did have an LED that did 10,000 nits. So we were shocked, but at the same time, it wasn't unbelievable. But the numbers are still extremely impressive, especially in small specular highlights. FOMO is going to cover that with D-Nice and Robert. But as far as them making mistakes, yeah, they make mistakes. And more importantly, they're professionals. What I mean is they're not YouTubers. D-Nice is there doing a job. And when I walked in and saw D-Nice in the showroom, he was surrounded by 7 or 8 A90Js at 83 inches. So Robert is busy. I mean, we all bother him with the YouTube content, which interrupts his business. And there are going to be some mistakes, and he feels terrible about it. He's a very genuine guy. So he'll talk about that, and you'll still see very impressive numbers from the Z9J. Okay. See, now I get so behind the comments. So for those of you that are new, I'll fall behind on the comments because I read as many as I possibly can. Bill Webb, thank you so much for the super chat. Very nice of you. Not necessary, but very generous of you. Thank you, Bill. I really appreciate it. I wish I could use my microphone. I'd give it a shot now, but I'm afraid it won't work. Let's see. Tyler Lee, Z9J will be great with the PlayStation 5. Yes, the thing is, there's a lot of talk from Sony that they have a variable refresh rate that they have with panels, Sony with Sony. Me having the A80J and the X90J, they're absolutely fine. The fear with Sony and 4K 120 is in order to add variable refresh rate, it might cut the resolution. There were some issues with the 900H. So for me, you know, I'm not purchasing the A90 for that reason, or the Z9J for that reason, because I can't risk them screwing around with the resolution at all. So my C1 is coming because it's what I needed to do, and it's kind of being my choice by default. I'll do a video on it, or I'll talk to you guys now about it, but it'll be fine. It's just like Panasonic, they may include it just to not be sued and say, hey, here it is. But the problem is, if it messes with the picture quality, then it serves no purpose. And we got FOMO popping in saying hello again, super chat. How's the storm? No storm at all right now. But FOMO, again, check him out at 6 o'clock with Robert and with D-Nice. And again, you know, that's going to be very informative because you'll be able to see also what these guys are doing as far as real calibration. And hopefully D-Nice will be able to explain the way he does things, which is so important because a lot of us don't really get how it would be for a day of work where he comes in, and I'm sure he'll say that. Thank you so much, FOMO. It's my boy right there. So we're going to go all the way back to the comments. Let's see. John Hooper, Craig, Shamar, And then, yes, I do think you're going to see smaller OLEDs. I think it's the way of the future. I think to have, monitors that were so quick and they were IPS, they always lacked contrast. And OLEDs being more mainstream and being very sleek, that form factor is so smooth, I think people are going to start going towards them. You will see smaller ones. Capren, you will see the 65 with me, the X95 in a couple weeks. Jen, quick question. Why is Netflix calibration so bad? I mean, to be honest, I think that and even the THX modes are very general baseline. They're not like, it's not like they're, I don't feel like they're specific to each TV. And sometimes I feel like they try to be so accurate, they just make everything dark. So I think that's probably what you're alluding to. They're just very dark. That's how Dolby Vision was on the early Sonys, and I don't really use it at all. And to be honest, guys, I'm not a real big fan of what the director intended. I actually don't care. I don't care what he wants. All right, I'm going to start getting a little loose. Here we go. Let's see. Tony Soprano, LG C1 83 inches or Sony J95 85? I guess you're meaning the Z9J. I mean, honestly, when it comes to hockey is like the end-all, be-all for LEDs. I'd have to go with the Z9J with an LED. Just hockey. I mean, no matter how bright the A90J is, they just do struggle with whites. They don't struggle with whites when they're by themselves, but you put them next to an LED, that peak brightness and that sustained peak brightness. There's no ABL. So I'll always, for your use case, I'm always going to go with an LED, and it's larger. But the Z9J is going to come down in price a little bit. It's very expensive right now, but it came down the same. It was the same price as the QN800, Q900A. That was $10,000 at launch as well. And that's the problem with these TVs leaving or coming out so late in the year is they don't have a lot of time to stay at that price. My buddy Draco was in here. Aristotle, what's up, pal? Tell Daddy I said hello. All right. Nate Turk, I have my QN90A in the box at home still. Called Robert Value Electronics, and he said his pick from the QMED 90, X95, and the X95 mainly because of the XR chip. I personally do think that I always said, at least I thought in the last few years, processing was a lot of marketing. It was always like extreme processing and double XR processing and not this processing. So I do think this year the cognitive processor is no joke. I do feel that it makes a huge difference on the A80J. I think almost everything looks good upscaled. Let me just shut this door because my family's really loud. Sorry about that. Without the microphone, you're going to hear it down more than you hear me. So do I recommend the X95 over the Samsung QN90A? I can't right now simply because the X95 just came out. I haven't spent enough time with it. The QN90A to me is one of the best LEDs this year. Samsung really went back to form. The problem I have with Samsung, obviously, is the lack of Dolby Vision, which to me is more important than the XR processor because I am going to have Dolby Vision gaming, having a Series X. So I think at that point, the X95 again is going to come down to your use case. If you need Dolby Vision, but for really good picture quality and the more mature panel, again, the X95 just came out a few weeks ago. You already have people killing it with the review that, even FOMO and I covered. People already hate the panel the same way they did the X90. And what's funny is the same thing happened to the Samsung when it first came out. Users bought it, hated it, got rid of it, and you have to wait for these panels to mature. At this very moment, the Samsung QN90A, to me, is the better panel because it's more mature. It's been updated. It is what it is. The X95 needs to have some more updates, and I'll have it in a few weeks. But it does have, but then the Q90A has all the gaming features, and Sony still loses there. And it's fine for gaming. It just loses those extra features. Tony, I thought we were gonna get crushed by this hurricane, and I'm all set up for it, and nothing's happening. So I mean, that's better. But thank you for asking, Tony. Let's see. Paso Brian, I have a 75-inch 900E also. It is in a non-light controlled living room, but not bad. Is there a TV that is remarkably better? Paso, the 900E is still a very good LED. It is getting up in age, and that's what you're seeing is the processing for a lot of these panels is better now. The thing with the 900E and panels in that year is their light control was, in my opinion, better. At that time, Sony really focused on keeping things, they really kept blooming under control, and they focus less on it now because they're trying to retain shadow detail. So the 900E, unless you need HDMI 2.1 or you want Dolby Vision, which the 900E does not have, I would upgrade. The challenge is you're already in the heavyweight division, so you'd have to stay at the same size or go up. But I would hold on to it until everything shakes out, unless you're not happy with it. And more importantly, for any of you guys that are in this live stream, we have 98 of you in here. I personally will never care what you buy. I don't care if you buy from Value Electronics. I don't care if you get from a friend, Best Buy, Costco, whatever. I really just want you at peace with what you buy, what you have. That could be an old TV, a new one. So I'll never push you to buy. I basically just want you happy. If you're happy with your 900E, buddy, hold on to it. Angry Mike, what's happening? Wow, okay, now fell way behind. All right, guys, bear with me. And Nate, back to what you said about the Samsung. My challenge with Samsung is going to be very simple. I was a Samsung guy for years. It's always going to be quality control, DSC, and their customer service is atrocious. So if you can return it, or if you can take a chance with it. But I know a lot of places now, once you open that box, it's yours unless you want to do a restocking fee. And you can thank a lot of people buying TVs, reviewing them, and sending them back for that, because now they do not play around with returns. Anything larger too. If you bring back a small TV, they won't bother you. If you bring back things that are 77 inches, they're going to go after you. WizKid, how's it going? Hi, Brian. I'm from the UK. I know where you're from, bro. I'm looking forward to yours and Vincent's X95J review, as I may get this panel when the price drops. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be great. You're going to see me have it. I'll spend more time with it than I did with the X90. Unfortunately, the X90 came to me during a bad time when I was just swamped with work and home repairs. But I'm very excited to have it. I enjoyed the X90, which we'll talk about as well if you'd like. But the X95, I think, is going to be a winner, especially since, again, we covered it. We covered that Chinese review. Me, FOMO, B covered it. And that wasn't us putting the panel down. We were just disappointed by the numbers. And I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised. To me, it looks a lot like the Z8H again, which was a gorgeous panel. And the Z8H was still available. So if you want to get a nice panel there, just never expect the Z8H to get updated with VRR. And Wiz, as you said, waiting for my review and Vincent's review, and I'll say this throughout the live stream. I'll tell you guys should watch everybody. Watch every reviewer, watch the very analytical ones, watch your toxic ones, watch your funny ones, watch the user review that's got the TV and only has one subscriber. Watch them all. Get as much information as you possibly can, because we all have our preference. Vincent is he's obviously a compression calibrator, and he is always about accuracy. Dead-on accuracy. So I'd always love to, again, sit in a room with all of us YouTube guys, Vincent, and just see, not if we just disagree, but what our preferences are. And what's going to be really interesting about the Value Electronics shootout, you're going to see me, FOMO, B the installer, Classy's going to be there, Techno Dad's going to be there, Shane from Spare Change is going to be there. So the best part about that shootout is not only going to be the results. We're all guests, but it's going to be what we see. And you're going to see how every panel is going to be calibrated to look the same and be accurate. The question is, if 100 of us sat in that room, Would you agree? I promise you 50% of you would say, well, I like to throw on a little live color. I'd like to do a little bit of this. So, you know, that ends up being, you know, the interesting part about all of our findings. Abdel Messin is OLED has dead pixel problems. I have not had any dead pixels on any of my OLEDs. I have 3 or 4 of them. There is, being that they're organic, there is that thought that they rot or they die over time. I do believe all these panels, 5, 6, 7 years, their performance does suffer. Plasmas as well. So, but I don't think they have a dead pixel problem. LEDs tend to have a lot of them. Let's see. Kung Fu Kenny. 80J with QC or A90J without? Ordering through Value Electronics regardless. I guess what you're saying, Kenny. Kenny, what is up, my friend? That so Kenny, if you're going to go price wise, like I'm guessing you're going A80J 77 or just straight A90J 83 because they're not the same size and that price difference doesn't work out. I would, if you can, get the QC with Dwayne there and get it calibrated if you can. I'm not getting mine calibrated. My C1 is coming, and the reason why I'm not getting it calibrated and QC'd is, one, they're super busy. I don't want to put more pressure on Dwayne or Robert. And 2, I kind of have to show you what an 83-inch C1 really is just blindly. Not from, I'm buying it from Value Electronics, but it's going to come from LG, so we can actually see what it's like. You know, I'd love to be able to get it calibrated and QC'd, but to me, the QC is very, very important, Kenny. So if you can get the QC, I would. But if it's between getting the 80J and the A90J, I'd probably go the A90J. I like the A90J a lot. I feel they're very close, but we're going to talk about value in a second too. If you have the money, A90J is better. Mr. Wriggles, X90J. Why do I think it's been so panned? It's a great TV. It is. People really forgot, or I can't say that. YouTube is very toxic. And as you guys all know, if you wander in my comments at all, I'm a bouncer in my comments. I don't allow a lot of toxicity in the comments simply because I don't want to read it. And it's really impeded the growth of my channel. I want this channel to be as positive as it is. I don't want it to be a cesspool of hate. So for those of you guys that are in the comments that like to fight in the comments and like to make these long, that comment will eventually be taken out. Why do I bring up the X90 is that the X90 was reviewed very early and was panned very early. And then every time I did a video on that, I had to combat comments, which would be the words of somebody else. That could be a written review, that could be a YouTube video, but TVs aren't what they are anymore. The QNED, the QNED 99 is extremely impressive. It's got a little bit of an algorithm problem right now. It's going to be fixed with an update, I promise you. So if I review that as it is the day I got it, especially the day I looked at it, which I didn't even release that video yet, it's not what it was. By the time I had gotten the X90, it was a much better panel. Plus, Mr. Ruggles, I think the X90, since it didn't have the X95 behind it, I feel like they were cheated. It was left alone on an island, and people really almost put pressure on it to be the X95. It's the replacement to the 900H, which was a very good panel. The X90J is better. It's brighter. It's a better panel by a little bit. But that's why. But Mr. Ruggles, if you like the X90J, and please listen to me, and if you have it, stop reading other people's comments. It's a very good panel. It is what it is in its lineup. But don't let anybody tell you it's a piece of garbage or it's trash, and that makes me nuts. So enjoy it, buddy. That's why it got all the hate, is people were echoing what was before. You're already seeing that with the X95 because of that Chinese review. Let me jump back around. Wow, way down the comments. Transylvania, thank you so much again for the super chat. They are not necessary, but they are appreciated. Have you seen the QNED 90 in addition to the QNED 99? If not, how good would you rate the QNED? Transylvania, it was, I'm going to tell you right now what's so interesting with the QNED 99. I didn't see the QNED 90, so I can't vouch for it. I know Classy did a lot of videos on it. I'm not sure he was a huge fan of it, but I will tell you that the QNED 99 with the right content was ridiculously impressive. I mean, the saturation, the color, the black level, I mean, they were gorgeous. You would think they were an OLED from far away. The challenge is when the content is not great, that's when you see the algorithm struggle. So even when I put some of my demos on and I filmed it and then I was off angle looking at something else, you could see the algorithm fluctuate. And I think Caleb Dennison from Digital Trends touched on this. There's a dimming issue with the where they try to, well, and he caught this because it was more about closed caption and subtitles. I saw it because off angle, when you put local dimming on, return it off, the black bars turn gray. When you turn it on low, they immediately get dark. And when you turn it on high, they turn black. So they're like Samsung. They're doing some magic in the letterbox area. Sony does not do that. Even the Z9J off angle, the bars will be a little bit lighter. But I do recommend the QNED 99 right now. The problem is it's pretty expensive for what it is. But Transylvania, I'm impressed with it. I'll have spending more time with that one as well, but I can't recommend the QNED 90 right now. To me, it sounds a little bit like the Nano Cell from before. But thank you so much. Hopping back up here. And it kills you. Sony only had half the resolution issues at 4K 120 of the X1. That is accurate. The XR does not have that problem. Yes, the XR can do 4K 120. The question is going to be this, Andy, is just because it can do 4K 120 doesn't mean when VRR is implemented, it won't cut the resolution. That's the challenge. The challenge isn't its ability to do 4K 120. The Z8H can do that. It's when they add VRR, is there going to be an issue? That's going to be the question, which we've seen in some games already that we have already having some screen tearing, though they're only on a few Xbox titles. And typically console games, guys, have built-in desync, so you should typically be fine. My girl Jennifer Gala is in the house. Jennifer is a filmmaker. You guys know her from the channel. Jennifer is a dear friend, ridiculously talented. Please find her, like, and subscribe. She's actually doing some Dolby Vision demos that can be used as demos. And I think she's going to do a totally separate channel on that, so people like myself can show those demos without copyright. We just have to tag her and put the description, but definitely contact her about that. And always be careful using other people's work. I've only recently started using any of Jennifer's demo material, especially the letterbox stuff where you can actually see blooming. But Jennifer, much love. I hope all is well, my friend. Okay. Dwayne Phillips, special shout out to my buddy Dwayne. Dwayne is hard at work. Dwayne got a new job, but my boy Dwayne is actually a calibrator, and kind of been talking to him since he started his journey in calibration, and hopefully he'll link up with him at some point. But Dwayne, keep doing it, buddy. Keep rocking it. Ian Stevenson is in the house. Ian, how are you, my friend? How is everything, buddy? Yeah, the Xbox interface. Oh, is it in 1080p still? I never really paid attention to that. Well, Nate, if Dolby Vision is not a big deal for you, pull that bad boy out of the box. Don't be. And I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to get forceful here because your boy's drinking a little bit. For those of you that I'm a little different in live streams than I am on my videos. Do not let me or anyone else, like, here's the thing, Turk. You've been sitting on that Samsung for a few days. Rip it open. Put it on the wall. Shut me up. Get off YouTube. Sign out of YouTube. And see for yourself. And I'm going to say that because I have friends that are very knowledgeable, that are in our communities, most of our communities, very knowledgeable. Yet they're constantly sending me videos from other YouTubers about this and about that. I know what I see. You know what you see. You don't need to hear from me, man. You don't need to hear from anybody else. Open it up, run through the setup, and just shut everybody else out and trust your own eyes. And you know what you want, man. Fire it up. Amanda Spears is in the house. Amanda, how are you? I know I'm like an hour behind the comments. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Aaron, Brian, thanks for the info on my last follow-up. Same thing for Dark Basement, 14 feet, 77-inch. It's too far away, which sounds ridiculous, but I am about 13 feet, Aaron, from my 77-inch 880, and it's too small. That sounds so absurd because it is. At 77 inches, it feels like it's 65. So I would go with a projector at that size, my friend. Josh 8K, I think HDR10 Plus is catching up with Dolby Vision. I see it in various apps like Netflix and Prime. Interesting. I've never noticed a big difference with HDR10 Plus, honestly. I've had it for a while, but then again, to your point, there wasn't a lot of content. But that'd be great if there's more of it, especially for Samsung users. Thanks, Dwayne. Thank you, PDG. Black Francis, my man. It's nothing. I'm not saying I wanted it to be the storm to be anything, because obviously, we don't need anything like that, but I was waiting for some fireworks at least, But Black Francis, what's up? Black Francis has some of the best comments and some of the most positive comments on the channel. I really appreciate you, buddy. Really appreciate you being there, man. Stone, you're getting the 77-inch 80J. It's probably the safest bet in TVs right now because it's a great value and it's absolutely gorgeous. So congratulations, buddy. Let's see. Shamar, I agree with Brian. Yeah, what's funny is Shamar is one of the guys he gets in the comments and starts battling. Do not tell Shamar. And Shamar, I have mad love for you. You know that. Do not tell Shamar you don't like Sony. He'll be all over you. Shamar. I gotta tease Shamar. Let's see. Hamza, did Dwayne D Nice replace John? He did. John retired. John apparently was scheduled to retire 5 or 6 years ago, and just hung in there. And I think during the pandemic, things got much busier. So I think that he hung in there for a little longer, and then it got slammed. And I think Jonathan had to, my daughter walks by, I think Jonathan had to take on more work than he wanted to. And obviously when you're, and what's interesting, I was talking to Robert about this, is these panels are larger than ever. A couple of years ago, an 85-inch TV was rare. Now all of them are 83 and 77. There's only, when I was at Value Electronics the other day, the smallest TV there was a G1. The rest of them were 77 and 83 and 85 and 86. So those TVs I'm a big guy. Those TVs are hard for me to move around, let alone Jonathan. So, Dwayne is in there doing a great job. And Dwayne is very fast, and obviously much younger. And Dwayne's in great shape too, so it's easier for him. IRL HDR, what's up, my friend? Oh, okay. Kung Fu Kenny, my bad. Gonna clarify my question. 55-inch 80J with QC or 2450. You're locked in for the 55. I'd go 80-90J. I mean, they're so good out of the box, Kenny. I mean, roll the dice, bro. Roll the dice. I mean, because as much as the QC and the calibration is worth it, I'd rather see you get the better panel if you can. I mean, the A90Js are pretty accurate out of the box too, and Sony's pretty good with their, so I would go with that. Ian Stevenson nearly bought the 75-inch ZAH, thinking I'll hold tight to see the 9. I would. I think the Z8H is excellent, but as I mentioned before, I'm almost positive it's not getting any of the VRR features. It was never really promised. It was spoken about very early, but the 900H was the real focus for Sony. Strangely, that they wouldn't put on the Z8H those gaming features. So if that's important to you, I would wait. But if you like the Z8H picture quality, it's falling in price, but I would still, well, and it's also 8K. If you want the 8K, then it's clearly better in that regard. Golden Gundam Plus, whisper status. Has the bloom been mitigated on black bars for Z9J since? Not really. I mean, it still blooms. They still have some blooming. The Z9J still had blooming. Doesn't matter what anyone tells you. Every LED I've ever seen has blooming. So that's going to be a panel by panel basis also, but its blooming was minimal. I'll say that. But we have a TV that is as bright as that TV. You won't see as much of the blooming around objects, but you will see part of that black bar light up briefly. They wouldn't stay lit up, but you'll still see that. So yes, even at that level, the Z9J will have some of that. The QNED99 doesn't have that, but it's definitely doing something funky where it's like shutting off the black bars. So, and as you've seen with Caleb's review, it's having an issue with the subtitles. Magic World, hey man, how you doing? I was confused between the C1 and the A80J, so I'm kind of thinking to go for the A80J. I game on it all the time. I have a video up, or I'm going to put a video up now playing the Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. The A80J is absolutely gorgeous in gaming. It just lacks VRR, G-Sync, FreeSync, all those things. But right now, it's probably a better looking image. You know, very close. They're very similar. I favor the A80J's picture quality over the C1, but for me personally, I'm buying the C1 over the A90J, but that's because gaming is higher for me as far as my use case. It's almost 90% in the room that it's going in. So I went with the C1. But I think if you like the picture quality, 80J and gaming is still important to you, but not the most important thing, the A80 is excellent. Thank you, Tony. Snake, I have a question. Is the LG C1 much of an upgrade over the LG CX? No, it is not. They are very, very similar. They're virtually the same as far as I'm concerned. Maybe the processor's been tweaked a little bit, but I think they're very close, which has made it excellent for those of you that are looking to buy. It gives you a lot of flexibility on what to choose. You're welcome, Magic World. And Magic World, again, do me a favor. If you make that purchase, you buy that A80J, again, shut everybody off and watch that panel, plug in your console, and just enjoy it. J Mac, how are you? Thank you, Shamar. I appreciate it. Hi, Brian. What's the best movie you've seen past year? JB, that is a great question. That's a hard one, honestly, because I have not been a fan of a lot of movies lately. I'm definitely getting old. I'm watching more shows. You know, right now I'm obsessed with Better Call Saul and Lalo Salamanca. Movies themselves, the new films have just not impressed me. I'm definitely getting old. I thought the new Suicide Squad was okay. So I'm definitely from a different generation. So as far as movies I've seen this past year, not a lot, JB. Tell me what your favorite one was. Mr. Wayne, hi, Brian. Question shift. The PS5 is very sought after. I was able to get one from Walmart, but delivery is scheduled until October. Wow. Do I know why they're delayed? Or I think you're asking why it's been delayed till October. And that's been unfortunate, too, because I've had friends and clients that were going to order from Value Electronics, but things were delayed. So they ordered from, say, a Best Buy, and Best Buy says it's available now until you go to pay for it. And then it gives you delivery undetermined. So unfortunately, you're just seeing a constraint, and Walmart or Best Buy, they don't even know the number they're going to get. So unfortunately, and to be honest, you don't want to pay scalpers. I get that. Best thing to do is go on like a Facebook marketplace near you and see what they want for it. Mine was bought from a friend of a friend that definitely overextended himself, but I got the controller. I mean, the thing is this, guys, you don't want to support scalpers, but honestly, if it's a couple extra $100 and you want it and want to enjoy it, I don't care. That's why I also don't agree with waiting until Black Friday, because if I'm going to save $200 but wait 5 months, I'll spend the $200. But why? It's just the same constraint we've always seen, the same chip shortages and all that drama. Let's see where we are. Okay. Oh, good question, Jan. Hi, Brian. What do you think of an LCD, a little high, but with a tilt mount? Should be all right. Yeah, you're going to be fine. Jan, the challenge has been as long as you're going to tilt it down, you should be okay. What I've noticed recently with LEDs more than anything else has been the off-angle viewing. The hardest thing is being below it or above it. So that's been the hardest part. So as long as you're going to have it, if you're sitting below it, as long as you tilt it down slightly, you should be okay. You'll be fine. Brock, does my wife have any silk? Why, can you hear her down there in the basement, like working on her clothes? Maybe. I'm not sure. Miguel, Brian is looking more handsome as time passes. Miguel, that's very nice of you. Actually, I'm looking awful. Fitness has been very, very difficult. Thank you very much, my friend. That's very making me blush. Thank you. I appreciate it. But not feeling too attractive these days. But thank you. You're welcome, Jan. Does she have any silk? I'm not sure what you're asking me, Brock. Let's see. JMac, I have the 83-inch X95J. I installed it Wednesday. Best motion settings for hockey. Kind of the problem with OLEDs, Jay, is you are going to have to put motion in. You know, I'd have to go and look at mine. Hit me up in the video. You have to probably smooth it a little bit. Put it in custom. Put it on like 2. You should be fine. Absolutely, Kenny. Roll the dice, man. I mean, Sony's known for having great, great quality control. Grab it. I'm very sorry, Brock. I'm not sure what you're sorry about, buddy. Just got to clarify what you're talking about. David Whelan. David, what's up? I ordered a 77-inch 80J, but now I'm wondering if I should have gone 85-inch X95 at 10 feet away in my living room. I've been watching. I think you're still going to be good, David. Because one, you're coming from a 65-inch and a 77-inch is massive. It is a big difference. The 85-inch is much larger. I think you're going to be fine with the 80J. I would hold on to it. I think it's, but I don't remember what your use case is, David, if kids or whatever, but I'm not sure what the price is on the X95J, but, and also you're coming from it's hard because you're coming from a 65-inch TV. But I think you're still going to be fine at 77 inches. Yes, Durkin, I have a video on the Z9J. Check that. It's the last video I did on the channel. I did a thoughts video on it. Robert presented it, so please check that video out. And I'll be gaming on it, I think, next week if I can get down there. Jack Richards, my pleasure, man. Thank you for being part of the community and family, my friend. Paso Robles, will TVs with built-in Wi-Fi 6 have any picture? I mean, I don't think so. I think what you're going to see, unless we start having like 12-bit panels, all you're going to see is better quality streams, less pixelation. But that, to me, that's not going to make a huge difference unless we start pushing, 8K and we start really needing more bandwidth. It's just going to be faster. You're not going to see any picture quality improvements as far as I'm concerned. Jake, I want to see the U9DG from Hisense. You're going to see the dual cell at Roberts in a week or so. So we are going to cover it. Again, I'd bring that one home too, but that's another 75-inch TV. So I do have the option to bring all these home, guys, but 75 inches, you know, with a house full of TVs is, I know it sounds like it'd be fun. It's awful, actually, because especially when they're not mine, it's people will bump into them. And my color TV 1, LGC1 is the best TV, period. Okay. It's a great TV. Absolutely. I just ordered one. I'm not sure if there's a best TV, period. There isn't. There really isn't one. They all have pretty severe weaknesses. Let's see. Hi, Tony. How are you? Just got my PS5, but cannot see 120 hertz. Tony, just make sure you have it hooked up to an HDMI 2.1 panel. Also, make sure that if you have a Sony or you go into your TV settings and enhance HDMI, you might be able to find it there. And also go into the settings of the PlayStation and you will find it there as well. Also, keep in mind that most of the games don't have a 120 option. The ones that you could see is Ratchet and Clank and Black Ops, as you'll see it in the actual settings. But if you're looking for it in the settings of the game, most of them don't have 120. So I would check out a list of games that are 120 and then kind of reverse engineer it from there. How we doing on time? Oh, 4:11. I still want to bump into FOMO stream. Super Miami, what's up? Been a while since you've seen me live. It has been a while. My man, the last one was 4 hours. I was pretty banged up for that one, but I hope all is well. Hope all is well in Miami, my friend. Let's see. Tony, congratulations on your purchase. Yep, the HDMI cable will be fine. When it comes to the PS5, will be fine. Just you have to go into the PS5 settings. And the TV settings, again, other than enhance HDMI, you should be fine. And also make sure you're plugged into HDMI 3 or 4. There's only 2 HDMI 2.1s on that panel, so I think it's 3 or 4. Let's see. Brock, go into your wife's closet for me. Some old Hannibal Lecter? Let's see. Michael Holmes, you look like Mario Lopez, but you need to get your life together and find a woman and talk to a therapist. And thank you for your support and good luck. What the hell does that even mean? But thanks. Mario Lopez. Awesome. Brandon Lee. Thank God Brandon's in here. Got some crazy people in the comments. Tony, but cannot see any change. Let's see. Brock, we're going to have to go ahead and have to put you in a timeout, Brock. You're getting a little bit into some Hannibal Lecter type conversation, so you're going to sit out for a minute. John Hooper, I see your pets running in the background. You might be seeing some kids running in the background. That's all right, Kenny. I can take care of myself. That's okay. I have a bunch of jokers. I mean, Silence of the Lambs. I was thinking about, you're a big, great fat person. I remember that. Or she a great big fat person. That's all right, Brock. You know, you got some needs. I got you. That's not the kind of channel that we're running here, kid. Not the channel we're running. All right, let's go. Oh, Hassel the Hoff is in the house. So Hassel the Hoff. What's up, my friend? So I missed him. No, you were at Value Electronics the morning, and my boy went in there and bought some crazy stuff. So about an A90, I believe, and an A80. So good for you, man. I hope you love it. Robert said you were very, very nice to deal with. I really appreciate it, man. That's great. Yeah, Mr. Wayne, it really has. It's a lot of these companies, again, or even Amazon is doing that now, where they used to say, yeah, we'll bring it to you. It's going to be here in 2 days. And then they'll delay it. And they'll delay it, and they'll delay it, and delay it. So it's really hard to know what, what to have. Machias Gamey, what size TV should I get? Sit 18 feet away. Wow, that's far away. 85 is what I would go with. Machias, because even an 85-inch, say 900H, It all depends on what your budget is. They have very high-end ones now. 86-inch QNED 99 is excellent, but that's really far away, my man. I would definitely go with an 85 or an 86 if you can. 104 people in here. That's amazing. All right, let me see. Brandon, thanks for the love, buddy. Brandon's another one that goes way back, Brandon. I mean, all you guys, most of you guys I know. Thank you so much for the super chat, Brandon. Very, very nice. Fist bump back to you. Some of you, I mean, I know a lot of YouTubers say this, but when it comes to community to me is the only reason why I do this. I have, I'm not looking to do this as a career. I have a job. I have a career. I have a family. This is something I purely do part-time. I really wish I could do more for you guys and be there. I used to answer every comment I possibly could, but there's so many guys out there doing this as a career. I just don't have any desire to do that. I don't, so I'm just here doing it with you guys, and I'm no different than you. So I'm never trying to be a calibrator, pretend I'm something I'm not. But, guys like Brandon, guys I've seen in here for a long time, John Hooper, a lot of, Ian, all these guys, a lot of love, man. I mean, and they've seen me, when I was doing, what's so cool about YouTube, guys, is if you really want to see, or if you have any desire to start a channel, go back to the very, very first video that I did, which was a KS9800 banding video. And listen to how I present, and you're like, you know what I mean? So, it's a real person, even though I'm getting better with editing and all that, it's just a real person, and I have a real relationship with Robert at Value Electronics. He's a dear friend. So spending time there, but every one of those videos takes a lot away from my career or my kids or my fitness or whatever. I would not do it if it wasn't being in touch with you guys. I mean, honestly, having a drink with you guys, I barely drink, but when I'm with you guys, I want to be loose. I want to have fun. Even Brock, who's creepy as hell. Oh, welcome, Brock. But it's just good to spend time and laugh with you guys. Because for me, movies and games and all that was such a community thing. When I was young, you enjoyed films with your buddies and your friends, and that's what I'm doing now with you guys. That's why it's always open. Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate it. Not Black Ops 3, Tony. Black Ops Cold War. Thanks, John. Shamar, and I'll explain this to you guys real quick about the comments. I'm like 6'3", about 260 pounds. So anybody that wants to come in and defend me, you don't have to. So Brock, he's in timeout doing his thing. But when it comes to the comments on YouTube, don't ever feel the need to jump in and protect me. Because to me, the YouTube comments, the toxicity, I watch somebody disagree with me and then everybody jumps on that person. I want people to disagree with me. Having a community that only agrees with me is not really a great community. I want you to disagree with me. What I don't want is everybody bullying each other. So as far as the hate, Shamar, there's plenty of people on YouTube that dislike me. I'm fine with it. It doesn't bother me at all. The comments don't bother me. That one, we're just in a live stream. So that's why I got to mess with them a little bit. Amanda. So what's funny is Amanda was in... I think Amanda was in FOMO's live stream, and it was she had a question about something with gaming or TV, and I can't remember who it was, if it was FOMO or B. They're like, "Is that for your husband?" And I was like, "No, that's Amanda's. Amanda, I might have only 2 or 3 females. I think Amanda, Rachel, Anne, and Jennifer are like my only female subscribers. So much love, Amanda. Amanda beat Miles Morales this morning. What a great game. All right, let's go back up. What did I miss? Brandon, again, thank you so much, buddy. It's off topic, but they deleted the sound of your character puking in the Ghost Director's Cut. I think it's a bummer. I never got that far in the game, but yeah, I guess that's a bummer. Macias, I'm not a gamer. Does refresh rate make a big difference? Not really for films. I would still try to go with 100. Well, no. So if you're not gaming, your panel will typically be 120 hertz anyway. So 4K 120, you don't have to be able to do 4K 120, but 120 hertz panel is important. Macias, I would definitely stay with that just to limit blurring, I should say. So yeah, so I mean, I would say 900H, 950H from last year, Macias, are great values. If you don't care about value and you have financially, you're good with it. The X95 is fantastic. The QN90A is very good. I'd be happy to help you with that. Nigel, been enjoying your videos from Value Electronics. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, Nigel. I'm about an hour away from Value Electronics. It's actually only about 40 minutes. But again, being a big guy in that store, I'm surrounded by all this. I'm trying to film, and I'm leaning against speakers that are like 30 grand. So it's very hard for me to. I don't like to bother them, even though we all help each other and Robert is a dear friend. I keep them there very late. I do get in the way. So I'm welcome there anytime, but I try to still be very respectful of their time. And I do want Robert to star on the channel. I think he's great on camera, and he's a very kind, genuine person. So, it's for him to take the time and be as generous with his time as you with me is excellent. You hook me up? Just mix this with whatever sport drink that is. Thank you, dear. Let's see. But Nigel, I'll definitely be doing more videos with him. Zach McFarland. Hey, Brian. It's a pleasure to speak with you. I'm following your lead in replacing my 900E with an 880J. Did you notice any major issues or differences with motion? No. It was a huge difference in picture quality just because, Zach, I mean, it is an OLED versus as much as I love my 900E, it is a mid-range LED. It is older. So you'll see a huge difference in contrast ratio. The 80J is actually going to feel brighter because of the contrast ratio. You're going to be very, very pleased with it. The motion is going to be faster, but if you do see some judder or stutter in 24 frames per second film, you'll have to enable some of the true cinema or motion settings to get it to run smoothly. But I think you'll see a huge difference. And the 900E was fantastic, but it's getting a little old at this time. And the 80J is phenomenal. Again, 80J is probably my safest pick for anybody, just because of its picture quality and its value. It's really, really a great, great panel. Cole here says, Cole Fellner, 120 I find on PS5 is underutilized. So check that out. Yeah, the Xbox is just much more straightforward. Yeah, Shamar. I mean, Shamar, it gets a little crazy. Believe me, I've had all kinds of fun comments in the comments. Take my wife off camera. People ask her about any silk. I've actually never seen that dude before, but wait a minute. Let's see. But Zach, please follow up and let me know what you think of it, please. Let's see, I cannot pronounce that. Writing. Hello, thank you for your content. Please give your opinion for PS5 gaming. 75-inch X95 or stick with the X900F. And wait, I'm doubting if it's worth the upgrade from my. Yeah, it's a big upgrade, honestly, and I'll tell you why. The 900F, like the 900E, is excellent. The challenge with the 900F is the 900F. Like, ours was really close to me. The 900F had that forced Dolby Vision update, which was very, very dark. But if you were telling me 65-inch 900F to a 65-inch X95, I would say, size-wise, you're fine, and hang in there. But you're jumping to 75. So, and the X95 to me again looks more like the Z8H. If you want to wait, my friend, I'll have the X95 in a few weeks, and we'll do a lot more on it. But you're going to see a big difference, guys, jumping from that period of time. Again, they're older panels. The 900F was very good, but in my opinion, from the 900E, Sony really got in love with these very incremental upgrades every couple of years. Yeah, Cole, and the PS5 is it's not as intuitive, even with saved data. The Xbox is pretty good at just like switching things back and forth. John Hooper, thanks, buddy. John's my boy, Vienna. It's my plasma guy. How, dude? What's going on, my friend? Terry, you can have a different opinion as long as you're polite about it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I welcome a different opinion, guys. I mean, I want, like I said, I honestly don't want anybody to agree. I don't learn anything if everybody agrees with me, I don't learn. You know what I mean? So I need to learn. And I think the challenge we're having in our world today is that we've gotten away from discussion. You can't have a discussion. Everything is a yelling. And you're very rarely going to hear me say something sucks or something is trash. I just don't believe in it. I don't believe in speaking that way. I don't believe in saying anything is garbage. And honestly, I think you can find such value out there. But this whole and there's two camps. What you have are two negative camps. What you have is you have people that are looking for affirmation. So there's a whole group out there, and I know several of them, even in my own community, they'll buy something. And you'll see more of this with like PC gamers and GPUs and CPUs. It's such a large investment. They'll buy something, and then what they're going to do is they're going to run around and then go through every video looking for affirmation. So they're going to say, yeah, I got this TV. Let's say it's a C1. So they're going to go through every C1 video and find what they want to hear in that video. And then what ends up happening is they're going to bump into a negative video on the C1 or whatever TV you want. And then right away, they get very defensive. I have several people in the community that I don't even really talk to because they constantly want to challenge every word and every comment in other people's comments. I don't know how anybody has the time to do that, to go through other people's comments. Thank you, darling. But I just don't know why anybody has the time or the effort to argue in the comments. I mean, that's the difference between forums. I'm not a forum guy. Being a YouTube person, I tend to stay out of forums because forums are typically not very kind to those of us. But it's very different if we're all face to face. I promise you that. But looking for affirmation, you make a great purchase. You're not going to find everybody likes it. And, OLEDs are a great example. OLEDs have now been considered much like plasma. OLEDs have become very mainstream. Well, not everybody loves plasma. And then everyone freaks out. Oh, it's the best ever. No, if I don't like it, if it's not my thing, and that's okay. And that's what I want. I don't want a bunch of OLED owners. I want everybody to just do what they want to. Let's see, where are we? Matthias, I would stay with an LED. If you're watching lots of sports, Sony or Samsung will be totally fine for that. And again, would I recommend more of the TCLs and the Hisense? Again, I don't see them enough to really be able to recommend them as far as their build quality and if they're going to last. But those are two I would go with, Matthias. Let's see. Snake, great question. Does a 77-inch TV feel much bigger than a 65-inch? No, my wife is not going to pop on camera. It's going to be a little cocktail, but actually my wife thinks I'm the biggest nerd for even being on YouTube, so she's not a big fan of me even being a YouTuber. Okay. Does a 77-inch TV feel much bigger than a 65-inch? Snake, I'm going to tell you this way. A 77-inch TV versus a 75-inch TV is a big deal. When I got home, my 77-inch CX, I was shocked at the difference in size, even between the 75. It actually made, because the OLED is primarily bezel-less. It seemed like it was more rectangular, and it made the 75 feel more like a square. And I laugh when people tell me, hey man, the 77-inch to 83 is not a massive difference. It is a massive, massive difference. Remember, you're not just going diagonal. Height and width. A lot of times you guys don't actually measure the height or the width of the panel. You add those things up, it's much larger. It's a massive difference, Snake. So if you can go to it, I would go with 75 is going to feel big too. The challenge, Snake, I'm going to tell you though, there is a challenge. When you jump 10 inches like that, the pixel density, it's not going to be as clean. So you are going to see a sharper image on a smaller panel, especially if you're going to be close. You can be very close to a huge TV, it's going to feel a little bit sharp. Wolfgang, I just bought an 85-inch X91. Should I exchange and pay the extra $2,000 for the X95? I mean, the X95 is a better panel. Only you can tell me if it's worth $2,000 to you. It's worth $2,000 to me. But I mean, I would, if it's worth it to you, if money's no option, it's a better TV all around, without a doubt. Ernie C, what's your take on the QN900A? I know you're an OLED guy, but do you factor those EARC issues from Sony into possibly going into Samsung? Ernie, I'm actually an LED guy, to be honest. I am an LED guy at heart, and will definitely return to LED at some point. The QN900A is very good. The challenge with the QN900A, just like the 950T and TS, is it doesn't really outshine the QN90A. So that's the problem. You're paying a premium for some build quality and 8K, which you may not use. I would look at the QN90A, save yourself some money, and I would go for it. Samsung's got excellent picture quality, and they have a very unique look all their own. So I would go for it. As far as the EARC issues from Sony, hopefully they figure it out. The problem is I just can't promise they will. It's just we've had all kinds of issues with a lot of these companies not following up. Samsung never even put the Q90. Q90R's EARC was never fixed. Actually, they never even added it. Let's see. Ben Hizzle, I just recently found your channel. I really enjoy the content and I'm learning a lot. Thanks for keeping us all informed and up to date and everything. Ben Hizzle, thank you so much. Welcome to the community. Welcome to the family. And I'm looking forward to you teaching me some stuff as well, my friend. Thank you so much. I hope all is well with you. Let's see what else we got, guys. And guys, if you want to talk about anything other than, thank you, Durkin. Anything other than TVs, let me know. Johnny Cage, my friend, we just talked about the Neo QLED 8K. I like it, Johnny. The problem, I think, though, is that it's not noticeably better than the QN90A. So I think they're great. I just think that they're so expensive in comparison to what the Q98 offers. So if you don't need the 8K, definitely save some money or wait for that price to drop. But I do like them, and well, I will say this too. I should have said this above. They're the best looking panels as far as stylistically. EP, how are you, my friend? Good to see you too, brother. Transylvania, great question. I actually just set up my Denon, and I have the Xbox. I have the HDMI box adapter. I haven't tried it yet. I'm going to use everything EARC simply because I want nothing to pass through the receiver. So, I'll let you know how it works. But I went through the whole thing of wiring everything behind the walls, the Atmos, the ceiling, and there's always that that volume test where you hope everything is connected. You're like, please, as it does static. But I'm definitely looking to do some SVS subs from some new subwoofers. Let me know if you have any recommendations. But I have not tried the adapter yet. To me, it's really just a splitter in many ways. Snake, I've got the 65-inch 90J, about 3 months and really bad burning. Oh, 90J. and really bad burning. It looked. I don't know what you mean by you've had burn-in with it with the X. Is that the A90J? Just let me know what you're thinking. What you're saying there. Oh, LG C1 or CX. I mean, to me, they're virtually the same. Go for whatever one is cheaper. The only reason why I'd recommend the C1 over the CX is that they are going to support it longer. You know, they're going to support, and not because the CX won't be supported, but look to, and the CX is actually very complete right now, but they're going to support the newer panel longer. So if you want it to be more up to date. Let's see. John Mochi, why can't Hollywood make great movies anymore? Honestly, it's, in my opinion, it's the same thing you see with the gaming community. They really cannot take a chance on anything that's not a franchise. You know, small independent films. And to me, it goes even farther than that, John. It goes back to Harry Potter and publishing. It goes back to and I love Harry Potter, don't get me wrong. I love those books. I love the movies, is delivering on a franchise. They can make so much money off of part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, whether it was like Hunger Games, all that stuff after that. And when you see games like Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, you're seeing these smaller titles, they get totally lost, and it's just not worth the money to them. For me, John, if you want to get me ranting, I'm just so tired of seeing the same actors in the same films. I don't need to see any more Rock. I don't need to see any more Mark Wahlberg or the same dudes and same girls in the same movies. And it's just too much. And I can totally see that. And everything's becoming so political. And don't worry, I'm not going to get political, but I don't want to see that in my movies. I don't want to see where it's like the Matrix. Like you're seeing Matrix on the part 4. I can see when I watch films now where whatever executives and boardroom members are saying, we need this, we need that, we need this, we need that. Storytelling is absolutely dead. Writing is absolutely dead. Unless they're small independent films, I'm not seeing anything that is even remotely decent. And it kills me because movies were my biggest thing. And I'm going to tie that even farther, is that's affecting physical media. Because nothing to me is good enough for anybody to say, hey, I want to own that. And that's, to me, always been my indicator, John. I would always buy a Blu-ray, Laserdisc, all that stuff. I would always buy that if I liked it and I wanted to see it again. Now I leave a theater, I'm like, it was all right. And then I'm not buying it, it's all right. So that's my theory. Not much of a theory, actually. It's kind of fact. Force 1. I already bought the X95 75-inch, but now I'm thinking if it was better to buy the A80. If you're going to buy the A80 77, that may be a better option, but the X95J versus a 65-inch A80, I would stay with your 75-inch X95. And the X95, again, it's very bright. If you like brighter specular highlights, I would stay with that. Let's see. Jake Watkins, will the U9DG from Hisense be great for gaming, or should I stay with the LG C? Stay with the LG. I mean, Hisense is great, but as far as their motion and movement, there's no comparison to the pixel response of an OLED, especially a C1 or CX. As far as, if you're talking about gaming, as far as picture quality, I haven't spent much time with it. Let's see, Isaac Man, any news on the HT-A9? I'll tell you right now, ooh, damn girl, I'm going to have it because I think that is fascinating. The new, doesn't matter where you put the speakers, they kind of create those phantom. I think it's going to be fantastic. And I think that's why you're seeing, Isaac, you're seeing a lot of these panels have these great sound systems. I think they really do want the TV to become a center channel, which I never agree with, but they do all sound fantastic. Let's see. Only 3 months in bad burn-in. Neil, tell me what you have. Because, Neil, if you have bad burn-in in 3 months, there's two things. That's either you're abusing the heck out of it, or it's defective. If you're not trying to create burn-in, it was defective because it shouldn't burn in that fast. If it's LG, they'll definitely replace it. Sony's good about it too. Just replace it. Jackson, let me tell you, OLED is just a trend. Jackson, I can only disagree with you so much, but that's what we're here to do. It is not a trend. It's been around forever. OLED's been around. Sony, I think, discovered it in the 90s. OLED is not a trend. OLED is just starting in the sense of really becoming mainstream. They've been around forever, so it's not a trend. I can't agree with that at all, John or Jackson, but I do appreciate you commenting. Brainwaves Advice Topics LLC, how you doing, my man? Dude, quick question. Did you get to play The Last of Us Part 2 and your impressions? I did not play it, honestly. I had it here. You can see it on my channel, but I was a huge fan of the very first game, and it just didn't go. Joel was one of my favorite characters. So that game, honestly, to me, I will play it at some point, but from what I heard of it, there's just no reason for me to play it. Just in terms of the story and where it went with it. I will have to play it, I guess, at some point, but, it's kind of like Halo 5 for me, to be honest, where, it was where I wanted to go with, Halo. Halo 5 was totally opposite of what I was looking for, so I had no desire to play it. So I would say no. I don't recommend replaying it, but that's, whatever you want to do, my man. Just, I have no idea why that game went that way. Awesome, Hasselhoff. Yeah, let me know when you get it, how you like it. Evan G, have you run a pixel refresh? I have not. I don't recommend running them unless you have an issue. You can run them if you see some banding. Banding will improve on OLEDs, but I wouldn't go nuts running them. Jackson, FOMO made a video saying Samsung is his best brand TV. What do I think about it? As far as what do I think about FOMO saying Samsung are his best? I've never heard him say that. So I don't know. To me, Samsungs were among my favorite. I don't feel they are now, to be honest, just simply because of their quality control. But if you're somebody that really loves Samsung, Jackson, then again, this comes back into that affirmation. You're looking to reinforce something you've heard somewhere else. I don't think they're the best right now. Brandon Lee, how's the room going? I can't remember because I'm stupid. Brandon, you're not supposed to remember. When my room is officially done, my basement is finally done. Right now, I am putting soundproofing in the ceiling and putting cloth up because what's funny is the TVs are going to be so big, they're going to light up everything. So I'm getting a TV this week, buddy, on Thursday. Tony Soprano, X95J or LG C1, movies and watching hockey. You're going to have to go with, hockey is the one, man. Hockey is probably the Achilles heel of OLEDs. If you watch hockey, primarily, you're going to have to go with an LED. David Bayless, what do I think about the semi-glass coating on the 80J? Does it seem to wash out the crispness of the picture? Your thoughts? It's actually quite the opposite. The glossy screen of the 77 to me cleans the image up a lot. The matte finish, to me, the matte finish gives things more of a filmic look. I don't love the matte finish, and that's more of an aesthetic when the display is off. Do I feel it really changes the picture quality? Not really. Justin, what's up, my man? What's up, Brian? How's the weather? How is the weather? It's nothing. Nothing. How are you doing? We're good. So I guess the hurricane's going to miss us, but it's going to mess up my C1 delivery, that's for sure. Hey, Brian, 80J, how does cable standard definition look? Allow me to see that. Dan, okay. Hey, Brian, 80J, how does your cable standard definition look and HD content look on the 77-inch? Does it look better on a smaller 65-inch? How is motion compared to plasma? Okay, Dan, that's a great question. It looks fantastic, actually. The cognitive processor does make just about everything look great. I can't say that about my CX or the C1. The upscaling, I feel like the upscaling on LG kind of caught up last year, but this is a new step up for Sony. I think you're going to be absolutely fine. As far as the motion with plasma was known to have excellent motion. You will see some judder with OLEDs, but just enable some of the motion without soap opera effect, and you're going to be absolutely fine. I think you'll be extremely happy. Keep in mind, 77 is going to look a little soft initially. It's gigantic, especially from 65. So at first, it's going to feel a little soft, and believe me, you'll get adjusted to it. Dick Nixon, what's up, Dick? It's another longtime community guy. Brian, did you see any big difference between the Sony 900 and the X95? Yeah, it's much better, Dick. I mean, the 900E is fantastic. I love that panel with all my heart, but it's been it's an older panel. You know, it's due. So the cognitive processor now is amazing, and the X95 is just very bright, very brilliant. So it is a big difference. Now, last year's 950H, I did a comparison between the two. In demo material, the 900E was just as good. It looks just as good as the X90, but I think the new X95 is a big jump. I think I missed Woody. Was Woody in the house? I think he was. Woody, if you're in the house, man, hit up. Say hi, bro. Who else am I missing? Yeah, come on. Where are we? Yeah, bigger monitor. Let's see. X95 versus the 80J minimal, 75-inch. My room is bright. The 80J is 77, my friend. Medium bright. I watch the A80J in a bright room. For me, I mean, if I was buying them, I do have the A80, so I'd still favor the A80J. But give me like a week, and you'll see the X95 go against the A80J, and I'll actually do that in bright room. Tony, I don't see whatever. Tony, the 422 is HDR, so just leave that in auto and rock it, man. You know, don't overthink it. Put things in auto with PS5, and you're gonna be fine. IRL, yes, the X95 is in 65 inches. It actually starts there, which is a little depressing because the 950H actually had a 49-inch. But from what Sony told Robert, was the 55-inch flagships didn't sell a lot, and that they felt that 65 inches was the new sweet spot. And I guess by their numbers, they look at it as people that were buying the X90 and 900Hs could afford or were more apt to go with 55, and those going for flagships went higher. So they really lowered the 49-inch 950H was awesome. Kenny, I think I have them like on custom too for the A80. Angel Johnson, who is more beautiful, Mary J. Blige or Alicia Keys? I choose Mary. Very interesting comment. They're both very beautiful, my friend. Dominic, when Sony Mini LED? Never, my friend. Sony has their own form of micro LED. It's a crystal LED, so they'll never do mini LED. To me, mini LED is just a stopgap anyway, so you're going to end up seeing them all go micro LED at some point. Johnny Papa, what is your secret to looking young? Do I look young? I'm actually going to be 47 in a few weeks. I am a little out of shape. I don't think I look very young, but thank you. No secrets. I would say less stress, but I have incredible stress. So thank you for saying that, but I think I'm looking my age these days. Brian, what size did you get your LG C1? I got the 83-inch. If you guys want to know why I chose the C1, I'll be happy to explain it to you. Machias, no, X95 is it overpriced at $3,000? It's a tough call, Machias, because $3,000 for a 75-inch flagship. I remember a couple of years ago, the Vizio P series was $4,000. So, sitting here for a while. I don't think it's overpriced. It's going to come down if you can wait a few weeks. It'll come down probably about $500 or $600, but I think it's a great buy. At 75 inches, I think you're fine. My buddy Paulie is in the house. Paul, you're actually going to see Paul on the channel. You'll see him as TIR Paul. Paul is a very dear friend of mine. He's been on the channel before. He will be here. Paul will be here to help me unbox the 83-inch C1, and he was here to help me hang my Atmos speakers. Brainwaves Advice Topics LLC. I think Brainwaves actually has a channel too, so please follow him back and check out his channel. If any of you guys have a channel, please put your channel out there and I'll be happy to recommend it. I want to know why you chose the C1 besides for review purposes. It's a fantastic question. Brain, he's not going to drop it. I think it's 83 inches. The reason I chose the C1 is purely by default. It just does what I need it to do. It's actually the least sexy of the choices, which sometimes is the best choice. You know, I know for me, the A90J is the panel that I would love. I do want the 4 HDMI 2.1 ports. I do use them all. I do need eARC, even though I have an 8K receiver. I do want VRR. I do want G-Sync. You know, FreeSync if I do go with an AMD card with my next build, and it just does everything very well. And what's interesting is it's buying it practical, and it's just kind of, I know what to expect from it. But that's why I've said to you guys that Sony's lack of gaming features, it may not be a big deal because it's needed, but it's a big deal for people like me that use it because they just lost 8,000 or 10,000 from me, because the Z9J was definitely at the top of my list. Same with the A90. So me going with the C1 is really by default. I love it, but it's by default. And it's not for review purposes, my friend. That'll be my panel. That'll be one that I'll be keeping. Rayberry, hey Brian, hope you're doing great. Have you seen the working Optimus Prime from Hasbro? I have seen it. Amazing. I think it's awesome. I'm a big figure guy and I love all that. So definitely think it's cool. And I love Transformers. I just hate that they're bringing all this stuff back and they're just destroying it, like you saw with like He-Man and everything else. Dennis, do we know the 65-inch X95J pricing? I don't think has been released yet. It hasn't been. It's not going to be released until it launches, which will be next week. And then I'll have it here. My boy Paul's is at work. Working hard, bro. Luisa Shavira. Hi, Brian. Z9J 85 inches or A90J 83 inches. Lighting can be controlled in the room, used for movies. What's interesting about that one, Luisa, is the Z9J is an LED. It's 8K and it's bigger. So in that battle, if you have the space, you got to go 85. You got to go 85. I mean, it's so bright. And what's interesting about a panel at 85 inches that large is the blooming isn't as big an issue because you're literally going to be center, unless you have an enormous room. So I would go with the larger Z9J and you get the 8K as well. Got 100 people watching this. It's crazy. It's actually impressive to have anybody in here watching me. To be honest, oh my god, I'm surprised when I tell you guys. I will tell you when I get 5 views on a video, I'm shocked. And when I do these live streams, I don't schedule them. So when I start and there's like 3 people, like, all right, it's gonna be me and 3 people chatting. So I'm always very humble that any of you guys watch. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Nigel, Brian, I have the X940E from 2017 when I started following your channel. Have you seen LEDs this year that you consider a significant upgrade, mainly watching TVs and casual gaming? Nigel, the 940E is a very tough one because it's basically a baby Z9D. It's light control. The 940E was excellent with blacks. So was the Z9D. The big thing you're going to see with the 940E is the pixel response on these newer panels. The motion is superior to that panel. That and the Z9D had very slow pixel response. So you'll notice no blurring at all in comparison to what you're used to. But again, unless you're going up in size, I would stay with the 940E. Let's see. Scott A. Brian, is the new Sony 80J a great first-time OLED? Oh my God. Yeah. It's one of the best OLEDs ever made. Get the likes up, y'all. Thank you, my friend. I'm not a big like and subscribe guy. I'm not into that too much. So, but I guess if you're in the chat, please like the whatever the hell it is I'm doing here. Let's see. Hey, Brian, do you think next year's OLED will be better than Sony A90? I do not. I'll tell you why. It's their first offering, and to me, if I want a Samsung OLED, what I want is saturated. I want really bright. It's going to have a heat sink if it's going to want to hang in there with the A90J. And to me, it's just a test year. They're going to keep it at 65 inches. They're not going to do a larger one, so I would say no. And what's going to be funny about Samsung is them going to OLED after criticizing it for the last 8 years. It's going to be interesting to see them change direction. They better offer something brighter, and with their quality control issues and screen issues, I would have to be a little leery of what they do. But I'm excited that they're going there. I just don't know how you go there with OLED, LED, mini LED, 8K. And here's my biggest thing, and this is a little bit of a rant. I have no idea why you're releasing those OLEDs in 4K, because you're the one that started this whole 8K thing. You started 8K, you're telling people they need 8K, and then now you're going to release an OLED in 4K. So a lot of mixed messages for me there, but I'll be there watching it, but I would not purchase a first generation one. Danielle, thanks for the response. Let you keep it real. You've learned a lot from your channel. I appreciate you too, Dan. I'm glad you found it helpful, my friend. You're welcome, Scott. I hope I answered that well, Joe. Let's see. Mike Lennon, returning Vizio OLED H1 due to some bugs. You know what, Mike? I could do I'm going to do a video on Vizio simply because Vizio was poised in 2016 to dominate. I mean, they had a very highly rated panel with the Vizio P series. David Katzenmeyer, a lot of written reviews, loved that panel. It was very filmic. And I love Vizio, and there's probably 30, 40 Vizio videos on my channel. I want to support them badly. But they were right after that year, 2016, mine were all defective. I had 4 of them. They started this whole panel debacle that I had. But they were about to do a sale with Lico, which is another thing you can look up on YouTube, where they were going to deliver these very large 4K panels. That sale went through, and to me, or fell through. I think Lico had lawsuits, some other problems. It's a big company, but what ended up happening was they lost footing. And in that period of time, they fell behind, and TCL basically just dumped on them because TCL looks just like Vizio. At least their products did. And TCL and Hisense just flew past them. And Hisense right now, you're going to see the dual cell value electronics. They're aiming at the high-end market, and so is TCL with the 8K mini LED. So, Vizio really lost it. But I also had a Quantum XP series a couple of years ago. It died during the review, and their stuff mechanically just doesn't work. I love where they go. I love the 3,000 nits. I mean, I have videos saying in my defense, and I can't really support them or recommend them until they figure it out because their stuff just breaks. It just doesn't power on. So that's kind of where I am with Vizio. So I would never purchase an OLED because I think Techno Dad bought one, and he has to hold the power button down to get it to work. All right, I think I'm actually caught up with the comments. I'm about to go back up to the top. Okay, Michael, let me know how it is. Yeah, so Paul, you'll see his comment at the end. He helped me pick up the Vizio, and he saw me doing some other content, and then he was there when I had to bring it back. John Chi, hi Brian, greetings from Aruba. Oh my God, I love Aruba. You live in Aruba? That's amazing. Hey, when is the date for the TV show? It is the week of September 11th weekend, September 12th and 13th. It will be the shootout. It's going to be Sunday. You're going to see a 4K shootout. 4K versus 4K, 8K versus 8K. The two winners will battle it out. And then you'll see on the next day, you'll see a projector shootout, which will be very interesting. I know some of you guys are very interested in short throw projectors and projectors. So you'll see the 13th and 14th. But you're going to see Shane, shout out to Shane from Spare Change. You'll see him streaming it live. And the rest of us, I know Techno Dad's going to be there. Be the Installer will be there. FOMO obviously is going to be there. And Keep It Classy is going to be there. So you're going to basically see Shane's going to stream it. So you'll be able to watch it live on his channel. It's Spare Change. And the rest of us are going to be just drinking and hanging out. I'll film some of it, but I'm really there to meet the colorists from HBO and a lot of the celebrity filmmaker people that are going to be there, and also Stacey Spears, I believe, is going to be there from Spears and Munsell fame. So I want to meet them. So I'll be more in covering. I'll do wrap-up videos. I think FOMO and I and B and those guys will do more videos of us all hanging out, is what you're basically going to see. So I'm looking very forward to meeting all those guys in person. We have all these virtual friendships, which is so funny. But it's going to be awesome. I do think, though, unfortunately, there'll be no public allowed. That's the only problem. I think due to now, I think we have to wear masks and then show vaccination to be. Otherwise, it was going to be a public event. IRL HDR. Did you see that Scream is getting? That's great. I hope so. No, I'm drinking vodka and some, look at this vodka. It's like the space bottle. And some sport drink, Paulie. I only really drink when I'm doing live streams. Ooh, heavy hand. Nigel. Oh, yeah. So, Nigel, that was a great question. Where'd you go? Let's see. Where did Nigel go? Yeah, so the shootout happening this year, you're going to see Robert, and you're not going to see any YouTube judges. Obviously, because I don't think any of us, you're going to see professional colorists. You're going to see people that really focus on filmmaking that are going to be doing it. And in these shootouts, they're going to basically calibrate them all. You're going to see the QN90A, the A80J, the A90J, the QNED lineup, the LG C1, the LG G1. You're going to see the LG ZX, which is probably the best looking panel of them all. It's just $32,000 right now, but I don't think the X90 is going to be in it. The X95 will be in it. It tends to be typically, and the A80 might not be in it. So it's going to be probably the flagships. They're going to calibrate them. They're going to line them up, and they're going to shoot it. And I can't wait to see what happens. My prediction is you're going to see the A90 come out of the 4K lineup, and you're probably going to see the ZX from LG come out of the 8K lineup. So that's my prediction. I'll put it out here. Right now, I predict the A90J wins the 4K lineup, and this LG ZX wins the 8K lineup. And you're going to see the ZX versus the A90, and I think the ZX wins it. That's because the ZX is just unreal. I mean, it's not like it was with it's not like it was where you had back in the day where the C1 was the same as the G1 and the EX, and now the ZX is a completely different beast. VS Sandra, how are you, my friend? How's everything, bro? Got 106 people. Oh my God, that's a lot. My channel is very small, so it's great to have that many of you guys watching. Imagine if I actually scheduled it. No, this is not what I'm drinking, Paulie. So put pressure on Paul in the comments because he needs to take some time off from work to help me with this monster TV. Because the plan is to bring in the 83-inch, film it below the 77-inch 880. I want to do a video specifically on size, the difference between the two, and show you the difference between the. I'm gonna measure them both. We'll do that on camera. That'll be a separate video. Then I want to compare the two picture quality wise. The problem is I know the 880J is so much better out of the box than the C1, so I like to juice them both up to make them look nice. So we'll do a couple of videos, but Paul has to spend some time with me because we need to unbox it, do that video, and then bring the A80, Jesus, these letters, the C1 to its final place, which will be in my basement. On my entertainment stand, the C1 will actually touch the ceiling. That's how low the ceiling is. Brandon, yeah, take the day off. Socrates, what's up, my man? When am I getting the C1? Thursday, I am. Let's see, Socrates. Hey, Brian, I don't get the following. How can people prefer LED over OLED if they've experienced both? If they are not in a bright room? I'll tell you exactly why, Socrates, is that when you look at an LED, a high-end LED in the same room with an OLED, you're right. The contrast ratio of the OLED does make it pop. However, when you see the specular highlights, and I don't mean the small, here's the thing. You're going to see this on FOMO's live stream with Robert. And FOMO talks about this a lot. Specular highlights, 1% window, 5% window. When you see an OLED have an explosion on screen, and that HDR performance is like, whoa. When you see an LED that's 3,000 nits with an explosion on screen, you're like, oh my God. I'll give you an example. When you look at Superman versus Batman, not a great looking movie, but that film where they get face to face and he pushes back Batman, and the guns come up and they start shooting. And when those miniguns shoot and Superman flies up and uses the heat ray, that is blinding on an LED. On an OLED, it's bright. So what you're seeing is small specular highlights like glitter. When you see Vincent and even FOMO do comparisons, they tend to focus on very small, like almost stars. And the light control of an OLED will win that every time. But anything larger, LEDs cannot, or OLEDs cannot compete with an LED with high peak brightness. And the challenge we've seen with some Samsung and even Sony panels is that the OLEDs have brighter specular highlights if they're really, really small. That's confusing, but the vibrancy, Socrates, of an LED, especially when something white comes up on screen, an OLED will never, ever be able to compete with it. You put heat sinks on it all day, and that's why people prefer them. People sometimes prefer them in a dark room. But, Socrates, this is where we got to be careful. That's your thought. That's what you see. Some people think OLEDs are very, very dim. I personally don't feel that way, but some people do, and that's why you're seeing people that love LEDs. I'm an LED guy at heart. The problem is I've gotten so allergic to blooming that I can't. I have a hard time with it now. But that's why you're seeing it. Personal brightness, but it's always. But you know what? Even the squinting at times with the high peak brightness, that does create that wow factor. I will tell you my best way of describing it is if you want something like Gemini Man, you watch it on an OLED. The explosions, they're very bright, but they look painted on. If you see an LED, those explosions, they leap off the screen. But it's a very small percentage of the time. And that's only, it's only sometimes. So we think about it, you're making your decisions on a small time, But I can't judge that because people like what they like. Black Mantle, what's up, my friend? Let's see, Black Mantle. That scene in Lucy where they are in a white room threw my 80G for a loop while the white was tinted in 3 different. Yeah, so Black Mantle's telling you right there. OLEDs do struggle with whites that way. Yeah, people like different things. I just found out last few weeks I'm an OLED guy. And Socrates, that's fine. You're an OLED guy. I am an LED guy at heart, meaning I'm always rooting for them, but I just chose an OLED. So to me, I'm married. I have a wife. I don't marry technology. So I don't have any buyer's loyalty. They have to win me every single time out. So, that's where I don't have brand loyalty. So the C1 to me is just a very logical choice. The A90 is the sexy choice, but it doesn't have the gaming that I need, and it may never have it. IRL, Whisper, any films you'd like to see get a 4K release that haven't already? Yes. 3. I want 7. I want The Thing, which comes out next month. And what was the other one? I just had one that was The Crow needs to happen. Those are the films I need. Now I'm going to take a bathroom break. Please, in the comments, let me know what movies you want to see with a 4K release. I'll be right back. Are you guys working downstairs? Thank you guys for that. Let's see. Brandon Paul's a big boy too, though. So, yes, I closed the door. Heat was awesome. Excellent film. Mark, that's a great question. I would go Panasonic, but with Philips, I've been hearing they do fantastic. They've had fantastic products recently. I just haven't seen them. So, I have a hard time being able to not recommend. Now, I know. I'll talk about YouTube really quick. So, for me as a reviewer or a YouTuber or whatever the hell I am, we're influencers, whatever. I have to be able to speak with some specificity and tell you what I think about certain things. I can tell you my thoughts on, Highlander. Oh my God, Socrates. Yes. Kurgan. Better to burn out than to fade away. I have to be able to tell you what I think about certain products. And there's a certain group of products that I can see for myself. Then there's me and my relationship with Value Electronics. I'm not sponsored by Value Electronics. It's a friendship. We help each other. It helps them. It helps me. But I don't, I'm not paid by them. I don't work for them. But it helps me bring you displays that are impossible for me to bring you. I'll also tell you, I don't agree with the model of buying TVs, reviewing them, and sending them back. I don't agree with that. I know it's the way to do it. I know people have to do it, but it's a short game. You can't keep doing it. You'll get blacklisted very, very quickly. And unfortunately, you're not able to keep the panels long enough to really give you the opinion. When I get panels from Value Electronics, I have them for as long as I need them. I had the X90 for 4 months. I'll have the X95 for as long as I want. But to be able to speak, now there's also videos like thought reviews, which means I haven't seen the panel, but I can give you my opinion on it. And I used to do videos that I want to get back to with ratings.com, where I would go with 2 TVs and I'd use their software, their website, and I would put up the tools. And you'd be able to compare TVs, and we can talk about it. And I don't have to have the panel for that. So I'll do more of those videos. And I love Ratings in Canada. Please support them. And if you like ratings.com, also please think about becoming an insider for them. It's not really a Patreon. You get reviews early, but that company does an amazing job. They're great guys. And you become an insider, I think it's like $10 a month, but you get reviews early. I'm an insider, help them out. They help me out a lot. So, but as far as like recommending panels, I can only tell you a little bit of what I think about Hisense and those guys. I don't have them. Paulie actually has, the R635 that was on the channel at one point. So, he really enjoys it, but it's hard for me to say, get this or get that if I can't really spend time with them. And that's why I don't love that Hisense and those guys aren't in stores. And Robert is good friends with the CEO of Hisense. So I do hope to meet him, and I'll ask him that question. As not being available in stores, it's very hard for people like me to recommend them. Evans, you're talking to IRO. I honestly can't believe Aliens still isn't on 4K. Yeah, you know what's funny? But those took forever just to get to Blu-ray. What's also tough is The Thing is already available on Apple, I believe, in 4K, and so is Event Horizon is on 4K. And Black Mantle, I understand YouTubers have to do that. I'm not putting them down for it, but it's an issue. It's an issue for you guys too, because we're bringing things back, and you're like, where'd it go? Like, oh, I just got rid of it. Sometimes you have to pan it to send it back, so it's a little hard, and it's hard to, and it's a really dicey, because then if you get like, we're digital trends. I love digital trends, but Caleb knows those are cherry picked displays. He has to have to keep a good relationship with them. Can't really pan them, so it's a really tough thing. To be able to be real, so to speak. Oh, Brandon goes, can we take up a church offering super chat fund for Paul? Believe me, I got Paul's back. Paul's going to be fine. Paul gets love. Amanda, but thank you for thinking of that. Paul appreciates it. Amanda, yes, Willow. That's another one. You know what's funny about Willow, Amanda? I don't know how old you are, but I remember when Willow came out, it was a big bomb. And I can't remember. It was, what was it? Oliver Harper, one of those film guys. I love Critical Drinker and all those guys. But, that film was one that had all kinds of hype, and it didn't work out, but ended up being excellent. Let's see. Mark Faherty. Hey, Mark. Will you have any videos on the... Yes, I will have the Hisense dual cell. I will have videos on it. I can't get one to bring home because I think he's only getting between 6 and 9 pieces, but he'll be the only retailer in our area to have it. So... Paso, LCD to buy now, X95, X90, QNED 99, Samsung QN90A, Samsung QN80. Those are probably the best ones out there. I love the X95 so far. Amanda, one of your all-time favorites is Willow? You know, it's funny. Actually, Willow had the underrated villains. Amanda, I'm gonna get that video for you that broke it down, and I'll put a link on one of your comments. I'll send it to you. Kung Fu Candy, in terms of build quality, which panel is the GOAT? Samsung, Kenny. As far as build quality, Samsung's 8K lineup is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, glass, really, really beautiful. Arvin, right now, the X95 I do like a lot. I think the QN90A, I mentioned this in the beginning of the stream, is a more complete display, only because, and I mean that because it's been updated. The X95 is still going to take some updates, but the Q90A, what you have to say to yourself, and this is not my opinion, for me, I like Dolby Vision. I'll use it for gaming, so you have to go with whatever one you're going to use. QN90A is superior as far as gaming, what it offers in that regard. So it only has one HDMI, at least around here. So you have to gauge one you want more. If you want Dolby Vision, Sony is your choice. Oh, The Road with Vigo. That's a good pick, Evan. You know, other movie that I watched today that was brutal was Out of the Furnace with Christian Bale and Casey Affleck. What a good movie. Hard to watch, though. IRL, yeah. For me, Aliens, The Thing, Highlander. These are my favorite films of all time. Jaws is my number one. You know, Mark, will you or have had your TVs calibrated? I have not, Mark. For me, for the channel, me getting them calibrated doesn't really help you guys. So I can get them all calibrated and then have them. But let's just say, for instance, my A80J is calibrated, and then I bring in the X95 and it's not calibrated, then we're off. So having neither one of them calibrated works out better because I can't blame it on lack of calibration. So I personally like to mess with the TVs myself. I think it's still valuable. And we're going to have an interview with D Nice at some point to also talk about the importance of calibration and whether it's needed or not. Alien is a horror film. And I know I love where this conversation is going to go. Let's talk. Alien is a horror film. Another excellent horror film in that regard is Terminator. Terminator is a horror film. So, Socrates, I am in the middle of rewatching all Marvel movies. Thoughts on those? I can give it to you very quickly. Iron Man 1, excellent all-around film. Iron Man 2, not very good. Iron Man 3, not very good. I enjoyed the first 4. Ragnarok, and those are all great. I don't love where Marvel is going. I don't love, again, things are getting very political with those films. I don't love where they're headed with it. So, I'm pretty much done with Marvel after Infinite War, I thought was phenomenal. I did not really enjoy Endgame all that much. So I'm kind of done with them for a while. And Socrates, I'm kind of fatigued with the superhero thing right now. That's just me. But as far as the universe, where they went with it, they did an incredible job. Winter Soldiers, just a great film. Iron Man's a great film. But if you go back to Iron Man really quickly, we'll talk about this. Rewatch Iron Man for me. Everybody, homework. Rewatch Iron Man. In Iron Man, you had Robert Downey Jr., who might be the absolute best redemption story as far as addiction. One of the best actors of our generation rebuilds his life. They take an absolute chance on Robert Downey Jr. He was unshareable. He was in Ally McBeal and some other stuff. And he ended up coming back. He was in the end of the Hulk movie with Ed Norton, which is also very good. I like that movie, actually. The fight scenes were phenomenal. With Abomination, phenomenal. But Iron Man, as much as there's joking and it's got its funny moments, it's a serious film. Once he's in the cave and he's joking and they try to drown him, it's not very funny. And even the guy that he teams with, whose whole family died in a village, they were able to balance that seriousness with the funniness. And to me, that's a complete film. Thor Ragnarok works, and its comic works because they're all so powerful. They can be funny. But the balance of comedy and slapstick and all that is just too much for me. I think I'm a funny person. I have a good sense of humor, I believe. But after a while, it just gets stupid. And honestly, the constant, I don't want to say the whole, where they're going as far as everything is girl power, and I love women, it's just getting to be too much. It's getting to be where, again, not a political conversation, but it's just getting like the Loki show I didn't enjoy. Like, he was a buffoon in that. I just don't want to see any, I don't want to see any politics in movies. I want my movies to be left alone. To me, they took, Marvel went with the whole, Marvel did that, Star Wars became Marvel, and it ruined that for me. So, unfortunately, you know, it's just where I am with them. It's just, I can't see them going forward in anything I'm interested in, you know. But the way they built that universe was phenomenal. So, and Brandon saying the Batman trilogy, yeah, the Batman trilogy. What's so funny is the Batman trilogy almost birthed the Marvel trilogy. So Batman was such a dark, not funny at all. And then Marvel came out with this, and now everything is going back to being funny. And I'm going to tell you this, you'll laugh at this. I was at a friend's house the other day, and Shark Week was on. I love Shark Week. I've always loved Shark Week. It was always scientific. It was horror driven. And if you go back and watch Shark Week from 5 or 6 years ago, it's very scientific. It's like Shark Week. And it's, you know, talks about this and that. They had Shark Week with Mike Tyson the other day. And everything is Shark Week, Mike Tyson, and blah, blah. And they have all this fake drama, and it's all this reality stuff. I can't watch a second of that. So I feel like movies and even gaming have blurred in all the same. They're all very similar. Everything is, hey, let me sell you some of whatever the hell this is. And I just don't, I want to get lost. I don't need any of the commercialism stuff in it. I remember a movie called Repo Man years ago with Emilio Estevez. And he's drinking, I think he was drinking like a beer, and it just said beer on it. Just said beer. So I just can't get into it. And for me, primarily, it's all about immersion. You know, so having all this other stuff be special guest star Mike Tyson fighting sharks, like, don't want to watch that. I want to see Mike Tyson, and I'm a fight fan, and I can't watch boxing because it's become this YouTube Logan Paul. It's all about names. It's not about content anymore. You know, so okay. Let's get back on. I didn't do any Arnold impersonations yet. Let's see. And Arnold just got canceled. Even he got canceled. Take your freedom. Oh, Joe. Okay, here we go. Hey, Brian. Hey, Brain. Everybody rates Brain, which is so funny. My teachers used to do that. Do you agree Sony OLEDs upscale lower resolution content better than LG OLEDs? Yes, I do agree with that. Yes, I do. Except the processor is just better. I do believe the CX and the AAH last year, they had gotten them so close, and they looked nearly the same. But I feel like the cognitive processor is a little bit better. Not head and shoulders above. I wouldn't base my purchase on that, but they are better. We still got 100 people in here after 2 hours. Oh, you need the Van Damme impression? I love Van Damme. What are you looking at? Don't do this one.
Are you still in a meeting?
I'm in the live. We're here talking to these guys. I know you guys missed the action heroes back in the day, but Van Damme was my favorite. He was like, beer. He was a kickboxer. He's like, Alex, don't do this one. You guys remember Kickboxer when he goes into the to get the ice, and he watches the give me tampo. He's like kicking the rafters, and he goes, he's watching them kick the rafters. He goes, Alex, don't do this one. He was kicking, and the thing was coming down. Bloodsport. Bloodsport was the. He goes. He's playing Karate Champ with Dr. Death from First and 10, and he says, "Aren't you a little bit young for the Kumite?" He goes, and Van Damme, the way he says it, he goes, "Aren't you a little bit old for video games?" It took him so long. You know, Universal Soldier was good. The first one. I saw the last ones too. Dundee Swan plays. Oh man. And Arnold, god damn. Come on. I haven't seen it, so Saif. All right, we got 104 people in here. I don't have 104 different people commenting. So if you're back there watching me and you're not asking me questions, or if I miss your questions, just throw another one up. Altered states. All right, nice. You don't have to be quiet. I'm gonna live stream. Talk as much as you want. Hello. Don't be shy. They're whispering because they think I'm drunk. Oh, Hammer. Okay, this is probably 4 hours ago. The G1 is the best overall 4K TV of the year. Full Evo tech, brighter and more efficient. You sound like a commercial, Hammer. Those are good points. The G1 is very good. If they had a G1 and 83, I'd have that one, but they don't. So I'd rather have the 83-inch C1. Yeah, I gotta tell you guys something. Girls. So we were watching the Avengers. Was it Endgame?
No.
Was it more with Endgame when they when it was the girl power part? Destiny, do you remember when the Endgame thing comes in the girl power and you go, that's stupid? Do you know the part I'm talking about, guys? We're watching Endgame. Come on camera, Destiny. So we're watching Endgame. This is my daughter, Sky.
Hello.
And Destiny, come on. So I was watching Endgame, and that's this. What the hell? So we're watching Endgame, and I'm watching it with my wife and two little daughters. And there's that whole scene where like Gwyneth Paltrow is all tan, and she's like, and they go, "Hiya!" And my daughter Destiny goes, "Girl power." How stupid! That's the audience you're trying to grab. So don't open that. Oh, so check it out. This is soundproofing that just came from Amazon. Pauly. So these actually expand to be about 2 inches. There's 50 of them in here. So I actually have to open these. Girls, you can actually open these and let them expand.
In his room downstairs.
Downstairs in the basement.
You want to open that in the basement?
Let's see. Your kids are smarter than a lot of adults. Smarter than me, I'll tell you that. Ooh, Jason, good question. Hey, Brian, what's worse for you, blooming versus vertical banding? Vertical banding's, ooh, that's tough. Vertical banding is very hard in gaming, as a lot of us pan back and forth. So that's tough. Blooming, oh man. So blooming and flashlighting aren't the same. You know, blooming is, again, around some objects. Flashlighting is a lot of times when you see that part into the black bars. I'd probably say vertical banding is probably harder because it's kind of permanent. Blooming is only here and there. Oh, Fight Club, great movie. Keep It Classy is in the chat. You guys know Keep It Classy does an amazing job on YouTube. Excellent comparisons. If you guys do not know who he is, you should know who he is. He just popped on here. Hit him up, like and subscribe. Classy and I are going to be chilling at the what's it called? Jesus, you know your boy's drinking too much of this. Whatever the hell this is. Ladies, we need a new cocktail. We're all going to be hanging out together. And the best part I feel is that me, Classy, Brandon, FOMO, we're going to be hanging out. So, you know, yeah, you're going to have some some TV talk, but you're going to see some guys hanging out. We all have rooms there. I'm staying there too. So we're going to have a good time. Let's see. Dennis, yeah, the X95 is great. Oh, all right, I missed everybody. Classy at the pina coladas. He's getting ready for FOMOs. Hold on, let me finish. Give him the cocktail. Hold on.
I try to hold.
All right, I'm back. Let's see what we got. All right. First of all, the fact that 100 of you guys are actually in here hanging out with me is awesome. Now, I think you guys understand the way I run live streams is I really kind of want you to picture that we're all chilling in a movie theater together and just chatting. You know, it's never got to be driven. It's a very high-end bottle. It doesn't have to ever be analytical or technical. We're not pushing any products here. We're just chilling. We're just hanging out. My favorite vodka, Tito's. Let's see. Hammer, will the C1 drop lower on Black Friday this year than the CX did last year? Yes, it's already cheaper. The panel's already cheaper than the CX was at this time last year, so yeah, you'll definitely see it go down. The thing is, though, guys, we're looking at, we're looking at. Oh, hold on a second. Cubic Glass, U-Foam, everyone coming is invited to family's lake house for drinks on Saturday. Oh, let's do it, guys. Let's do it. We got to film that, though. Oh, my gosh. What you're going to have the problem is LG having the B series from last year. You have the A series. They're flooding it. That their margins are going to get. You're only going to be able to go so low. So, to me, if you need it, grab it. Let's see why I got totally distracted here. Okay. Snake, what game are you going to play first on your LG 83-inch C1? That's a great question. I'm probably going to rock Ghost of Tsushima. I already started on the A80J. I need to knock out the Crisis Remastered, which unfortunately is a remaster of the 360 version. But I don't know. I sound like a spoiled brat. I have so many games I have to play, guys, and I need to just enjoy some content. But I can't wait to have it. Have my Atmos back. I've been without it for almost a year. And if I missed any of your comments, please throw them back. And again, I apologize. As you can see, I'm just going back and forth. Oh, Joe, second part of my question was, would I be better off with an LG G1 or an A80J 77? I mean, as far as I may have two consoles but need to upscale my lower content. I mean, I think the A80J is better at upscaling content. If that's really a concern, for me, honestly, Joe, almost everything I watch now is in HDR. Almost everything I play is in HDR and is of higher quality. I don't upscale a ton of stuff, but if you do, the A80J is going to be the better choice for you, just because of the processor, and Sony just adheres to that better. To me, I'm the opposite. I need things to be as current as possible. The G1 to me is a nice panel. It's not the difference between the A90 and the A80. So the G1 is something, if you like the design, go for it. But with your usage, if you're worrying about upscaling, you're going to have to. I would suggest going with Sony. Josh, just got the Sony A90J 83-inch installed. Awesome, Josh. I mean, to me, you got the best panel of the year. Mark, great question. Do you think OLED has reached its peak, or can it still improve? Yes, it can still improve. Sony has just implemented the heat sink, which Panasonic had for a few years now. So I think there is some room for improvement, but we are looking for a Evo panel. You'll see better panel technology, but the you know, the room for improvement, again, with these panels, think about what we were doing for LEDs. A lot of us thought we'd have 4,000 nits by now. And OLEDs, I think the more that you end up getting, the more you get expensive, or I'm sorry, the brighter you get, the more you have problems coming out of black, raised blacks. So you're going to just kind of key. It's why the CX, the C9, they've all been very, very similar. But I don't see huge differences other than, like, so for me, I'm comfortable buying a TV now. If it's a little brighter, I don't care. I'm in a dark room, so. Favorite guilty pleasure movie? Mr. Mom is one of my favorites. Mr. Mom is one of my favorites. Okay, let's go back up to the top. 95, you guys in here? Now, FOMO is doing a video with Robert in about 20 minutes. So I'm not going to try and block that. So we can sign off. We got a lot of us still in here, though. So we'll do it this way. If you guys want to jump over to FOMO, he's going to be interviewing Robert and D-Nice shortly. Let's see. So I mentioned that before about Terminator. You know, I mentioned this on the last live stream. Even movies like The Thing, Terminator, Alien, more than anything, what matters to me is every loss in those movies was felt, you know, and especially in Alien and The Thing are probably the best examples of it. It felt like those guys worked together for years, and they each had their habits, they each had their personalities. Now, what you have, what movie did I watch recently? I watched a show recently on HBO called The Head, and it was like The Thing, but without supernatural. That was very good. But again, you know, in current films and movies, I always lose track when you try to make people too good looking or too dressed up, or you're trying to cover too much. You can't have a guy who's been in, you know, he's been in the ocean like Meg, and he's got like an edge up, and his hair's all perfect, and they're tan, and their eyebrow. This guy's been undersea for a year. So it's like the believability, and I don't feel the need for everybody to be so pretty and good looking and perfect bodies, but writing needs to be better. Terminator, yeah, Sarah Connor's pretty, but she's nothing crazy. But it's a horror film. And Arnold's not funny. Terminator 2, when I first saw Terminator 2, that turned me off, actually. But still a fantastic film. But Arnold's character, Terminator wisecracking, was, yes, comedy. It was comedy to alleviate some of the stress, but it was because he was learning to be human. Then it just gets stupid. Hasta la vista, baby. No, fine. Later on, it just gets silly, and that's what I think kills movies today. If you look at horror films in the 70s and 80s, there was no wisecracking. You get into the early 80s with Nightmare on Elm Street. As much as I love those films, they got a little stupid at the end where he's like doing kung fu and they're joking. So I think the wanting to cover all these genres is killing it. I think in movies, you know, I think when you look at movies and you're trying to give an example, Marvel's a perfect example. My wife and kids enjoy those to a degree, right? But the funny thing is you're actually catering to them. They don't buy them. I buy them. I buy the statues. I buy the special editions. I buy all that stuff. And in reality, I'm not buying any of that because I don't like the content. You know, for a perfect example for me, guys, is Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, first 3 or 4 seasons were old Hollywood filmmaking. Game of Thrones, the last few seasons are current Hollywood filmmaking, and it burned. And to me, it was unwatchable. The writing fell off a cliff. It was all special effects. And what's funny is being a gamer, you think I'd want more CG? Absolutely not. I want less. I love practical effects. To me, the original Jurassic Park still looks fantastic because a lot of those effects are practical. Hammer, spare change makes fun of people who have lesser home theaters than himself. Well, spare change, I mean, honestly, I know Shane very well, and spending time in his theater, you get a couple $100,000 worth of equipment in there. And as much as him and I fight all the times about projector versus TVs, but his setup is unbelievable. So there is some truth to that. And when you're in, and plus when you're in the stereo group, that group is always going to be into that. TV group's a little less like that, but speakers, there's a lot of pride in what's worth what. If you mention the wrong speaker on an audio channel, they're like, whoa, what do you mean? So, Snake, what games are you going to play on the C1? On the short term, I have to play Metro Exodus. I have to play Ghost of Tsushima. I have to play the Modern Warfare campaign, the Black Ops campaign. I have a ton of PC games I want to go back to, Dead Space, a lot of stuff. Sealand Dijek, some thoughts about the Z9F. The Z9F is a complicated LED, and I'm going to give myself credit for this. I'm responsible partly for bringing the Z9F back to life because I pushed that panel when it dropped in price. The Z9F was a huge disappointment initially because it came out after the Z9D. It had a much lower contrast ratio. It was experimenting with the viewing angles, and the reviews of it reflected that. And everybody stuck with that and hated it. It was actually an excellent panel, very clean, very sharp, very bright. And the contrast ratio wasn't as visually evident as the numbers would suggest. The processor did help that. So the Z9F to me is still an excellent TV to pick up. The 75-inch to me is better than the 65-inch. It does bloom more than the Z9D did, but it was still a great panel. Really still just a great panel. So the Z9F is great, but that's what I mean about everybody falling in love or in hate with the panel. The X90J is like one of the most hated panels, and it's ridiculous. It's fantastic. It's a great panel. Is it the best panel in the world? No, it's not supposed to be, though. Let's see. I'm having some, it's called Uptime. It's like some fitness Red Bull stuff with some vodka. Shamar. So I'll rock 3 hours without a problem, obviously. You guys are hanging out, I'll hang out. Let's see. The Jeep, if you have a Z9F, if you're looking to, let me just say this, if you're looking to purchase it, it's a great choice. But if you're somebody who has it and you're looking for affirmation, that's a trick question because I could have just slammed it. And then that's the thing I want you guys to be careful of. When you're in these live streams, you're on these videos. If you want to know what I think about something you have, you have to be prepared to be disappointed. But you can't feel differently about your technology because of what I say or what someone else says. I like the Z9F personally. I know my buddy Fade to Black ended up purchasing it, and that became like the big part of his channel. A lot of people bought it because of him, but I recommended it because when it dropped in price, it was actually cheaper than the 950G that year, and it performed better. So I think it's great. Josh, do you have a sound system soundbar installed on your Sony A80J? I do not. My wife would not allow me to have a soundbar in there because the Samsung soundbar that Value Electronics gave me was huge, and it had rear channels. But what I am going to buy is the HT. Oh, you're asking about it. I am going to buy that HT9. Robert already ordered it, actually. Is the 4-channel setup where it uses the center channel of the TV, and you're able to put these speakers all around the room. They don't have to be level with each other. They create these phantom. I want to say, Josh, it's 13 channels. So, I'm definitely going to have that because I can hide that, because my wife is just like, I can't turn the house into this. She's very aesthetic going into, the way our house is designed. And other than this pull and spring behind me, the house is very, it's designed a certain way, and it looks ridiculous with speakers everywhere. But I'll have that, no doubt. Yeah, Tito is a good friend of mine. Is way up there in Tito's and kind of helped bring that brand out. So I'm sticking with them. Yeah, Blank Mantle. So for me, honestly, I just got done setting up 11 channels downstairs. 7.2 BMW. I ended up having some Polk subwoofers because my BMW sub blew. And then I have some BMW height. And then I have the SVS elevation speakers that my buddy Paul just put in with me. But it's hearing some of these sound bars, the ease of use and the price. Sometimes it's hard not to say, I can go with that. But once you get down to a real surround sound, it's hard to go back to sound bars. But the ease of use and cleanliness is hard to deny. I can always get another wife. Believe me, she thinks I should get another husband. Because here I am on a Sunday where no hurricane showed up, hanging out with you guys. Yeah, Shamar, 2000 nit OLEDs would be great. The challenge is always going to be, bro, is that going to be 2000 nits with burn-in, or are we going to see raised blacks? That's going to be the problem. Hey, Brian, which do you think is a better receiver, Acneo or I have a hard time with that. I have a Denon myself, Joe. I'm not a big receiver guy. Yamaha was a big name years ago. I personally like the Vintage is nice. I like the Denon, but I don't know enough about it to really speak about it. Nick, late to the chat. What's up, Nick? How you doing, buddy? I wonder if you guys talked about the Hisense. We actually haven't talked about the Hisense, but I'm very excited for it. I will see the Hisense in a few weeks, end of next week, or early the week after. It's just hard for me with my schedule to get down to value, and then with their schedule. So I'm excited about it. The problem I have with Hisense is you're doing this technology to minimize blooming, which is great. You're looking for OLED blacks, but you're not going to be able to really achieve it. But it's not going to be very bright. So my thing with that is, what's the point? So if you're going to compete with OLED, not do their blacks, but get close. I want to see you go 2000 nits with OLED blacks. That's going to be the win. So we'll see. We'll see. Ali Man, I'm not going to get an OLED until the burn-in is resolved. OLEDs are like the new plasma TVs. Your picture is amazing. Ali, man, you're not wrong. I mean, but here's the thing. You're going to miss on some superior picture quality the same way you guys may have missed plasma. It's a little bit of maintenance and you'll be absolutely fine. So I understand your trepidation, but you can easily avoid it. I mean, very easily avoid it. Let's see. Jason. Totally agree, Brian. To each its own when it comes to purchasing the panel. Yeah, I mean, honestly, what's so funny is like these guys get all of us, they get so amped up. I have people that want to fight me because they like their TV. And I will tell you, the most hate I received and I learned a lot from this. I did a video on habitual returns, and it was about people that kept returning TVs, and they would do videos on this TV, that TV. Then they return the TV. They love this one, love that one. And the A9G was very popular at the time. And I had nothing but love for the A9G. I just preferred the C9. And I would get 10 dislikes in every video. I had whole channels hate me because I praised the A9G, but I preferred the C9. But it's like I'm calling their kids a name or something. What do you really? I just don't care. I'll even prove it to you. I'm buying the C1 at 83 inches. That's the panel I'm putting in my little studio downstairs. And I don't feel it's the best TV out there right now. And I'm telling you that right now. So I'm not about protecting it. So if this channel all of a sudden turned into this C1 channel, and it was like, oh, everything is great, C1s are the best, C1s are the best. No, I don't care. That's what I want, and I appreciate and like that. I think the A90J is the best panel this year. I think the A90J is worth it over the A80J. But it's all about what you can afford and what you want. If I was to buy one of those, I'd buy the A90J. But the funny thing is, people getting so uptight about protecting their TV, I could care less, guys. It doesn't matter to me at all. I'm buying a TV that I think is not the best this year, but it fits my needs. It's what I use it for. That's all that matters. And that's all that should matter to you. And, you know, a lot of these guys, like Classy, you know, he's got a great channel. He started YouTube not that long ago. I'm sure he's bumping into the toxicity in the comments. All I can say to Classy is, who cares? Don't care. I don't care if other channels attack me. It doesn't matter to me at all. I know what I want to buy. I'm buying a TV. It might not be, put it this way, the TV on my wall right now is the A80J. I like that better than the C1. And I'm still going C1 because it fits my needs. And when you guys watch me, you watch Classy, you watch FOMO, you watch anybody, and there's nobody out there I'll tell you not to watch. Watch them all. Watch everybody. And then come up with your conclusion. But come up with your conclusion. Don't fire at me the exact words verbatim of someone else's channel. You know, I've heard people come at me with things from exact other channels. Vincent said this. I don't care what Vincent said. You say what you think about his content. I know. I watch his content. I learn from him too. But come up with your own thought process, and you'll be much happier. Much happier. Michael Wyckoff is in the chat. Michael, what's up, my friend? But it's very important, guys, when it comes to YouTube or whatever the hell it is that we do here, is to take a little bit from everybody, and then try and find an opposing view, and then come up with your own thoughts. But I mean, watching a couple YouTube videos is not doing research. That's not research. That's just watching somebody. You know. Glad to hear it, Michael. Yeah, Hammer. Ghost of Tsushima looked fantastic anyway. I mean, that game's gorgeous now that it's unlocked. Hello, Melanie. How are you? Anthony Sabatino. For the money, is the 83-inch A90J worth it? The big question, will they do VR? Lots of promises from Sony. So, Anthony, I will tell you this, and I'm going to put this to you bluntly, my friend. The 83-inch A90J is a Master Series. It is beautifully made. It is kind of calibrated by the factory. It's the best OLED this year, in my opinion. I can't speak to the Panasonic because I don't have it and I haven't seen it. As far as the overall picture quality, I think it's worth it. If they had an 83-inch A80J, we can talk about value, because the 83-inch, Anthony, the 83-inch A90 is larger than the 77-inch A80. So the value conversation isn't there. That's what everybody's missing. Everyone's saying, well, look, the A80 is 90% of the picture quality. Maybe. However, it's smaller. So if the A80 was 83 inches, it'd be $1,000 more. Now that we're in that conversation, the price disparity is not as much. And paying for the panel to sound a little better, look a little better, but have that maybe 10% peak brightness, Anthony, if you have the money, it's worth it. Now, I've seen people in the comments say the A90 is less important than the A80 because of its price. Now, that's ridiculous. You can't judge value unless you're talking about somebody's finances. If your finances allow it, if you guys are into cars, pay a lot more money for 5% horsepower. I can't tell you that's ridiculous. Mark, I have the X90. Any tips on controlling the blooming? Turn off advanced, it's not advanced contrast enhancer. It is the, I can't remember the name of it. It's only use it in HDR. Hit me up in another video, Mark, and I'll tell you what it is. It's not advanced contrast enhancer. It's another setting that turns on with HDR. Turn that off with SDR. You know what you do, Mark? Do me a favor. Look up my video for blooming on a Sony, and it'll bring you back to my first blooming video, and it'll show you how to turn off. It's a dynamic range, advanced dynamic range enhancer or something. Turn that off. It'll help you with SDR. Shamar, let me know. Give me a little bit of heads up. I'll try to catch up with you in New York for lunch. Definitely. I'm not down there as much as I'd like. It just ends up taking a lot of time when I'm down there. I go down there and I might shoot for an hour and a half, but it ends up being like a 5-hour day. Plus me and Robert just can't stop chatting. Extended dynamic range, Kenny. Mark, that was extended dynamic range. Anthony, if you're deciding between the C1 and 83 inches, that's a different conversation. So the C1 and the A90J, to me, the C1 is a much better value. It has all the gaming features. I really can't tell you Sony will ever deliver those features. And I'll tell you why. You will have them. You'll have the VRR at some point. The problem is, will it be any good? Right now, Sony is all about just giving you the VRR, and that's it. I don't know if it's going to be any good. If they, the A90J is having some motion issues with, people are saying motion issues. It's hard to tell motion issues. Some people love soap opera effect, but I can never tell you. You have to buy the A90J for what it is, which is why I'm buying the C1. But I am full gaming on that, Anthony. So let me know if that helps you, buddy. So Anthony, do this. Think the money, the value, money-wise, and then give me your percentage of gaming versus streaming, sports, and movies. If you're below 50%, I would go with the C1 if you want to go into gaming. Lord is King. I'm not sure what that flag is, Bal. What TV is best for porno? I don't know, man. You tell me. My 8K porn? All right, guys. I know FOMO is on at 6 o'clock. So let me know if you guys want to shift over there to see what him and Robert are talking about. We have 104 in the chat right now. Kind of hard to shut down am I gay? No, I'm not. But thank you for asking, my friend. I look feminine. Thank you, Lord is King. I'll give you one more comment before I knock you out of the chat, buddy. If you mean that as a compliment. But if you want to keep it going, I'll knock you right out of the chat, pal. See, even I get them, guys. Even I get them. Do I look feminine? Yeah, I guess I do. Wow, that's a great compliment. You're welcome, Anthony. Jason, I don't know if it's a huge difference between the X95J, but again, this year, the X95J, the what's it called? The processor is just a big difference now. So I'm going to aim more now, especially if you're gaming, because games like Ratchet and Clank are now taking advantage of 4K 120, even though they're not doing a 120. So like Ratchet and Clank's 4K 120 is actually 4K 40 FPS, but they're putting it in a 120 container. So you need 120 for that. Let's see. NIH, Lord is King. Don't know what you're talking about. I haven't yet, Ali. I'll see in a week or so. Ma, what's up? Again, guys, FOMO is on. If you guys want to fly over to him and see Robert and D Nice discuss the Z9J. Ma, what's happening? We got a troll in here, I think. We'll give Lord is King one more opportunity to not be one, or he can find himself not watching. Nice, Mike. The Z9D is still a great panel, buddy. We got about 2 hours, 44 minutes in. I've already had somebody ask if my wife has some silk because he loves women in silk. I have this other asking me if I'm feminine. So I guess we got some of the toxicity jumping in. Chris, I'll have my thoughts on the dual cell in a few weeks. To me, the C1 is a very safe bet. To me, like when it comes to Hisense having one size, to me that's an experiment. So, all right, guys, got 92 of us in here. Any other questions? You got anything else you guys want to talk about? My positive hammer. Thanks for jumping in. MC68, what's happening? You know, Black Nano, you're not wrong. I like the X95 a lot, but yeah, the delays really hurt it. It hurt it because it's expensive. Oh, we gotta erase this guy in here too. There he goes. Okay, King Lizard, nice. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of you. Let's see. How we get rid of you? Let's go ahead and just remove you. It's a shame. King Lizard, let me go ahead and put you on the block list, my man, because you're going to be gone, buddy. Let's go ahead and get rid of you. It's a shame. To have to do that to you, pal. First time I did that. Put you on timeout. I was actually wishing to get rid of your ass all the way. Love to see you in person, my friend. Yeah, absolutely. That's all right. King Lizard, you're out. And we'll guess you're the other one too. Let's go find your other buddy. Lord King, those are a little too close. We'll go ahead and knock you out too. Boom, peace out. You gotta admit though, guys, for somebody even at my channel with my size, it doesn't faze me. Let's see. Whiskey, IRL. Lynn, I love your channel. I have the 65-inch A90J and I love the picture quality. I don't have motion issues, no gaming. I don't think you would have any motion issues, my friend, because it's a beautiful panel. And the motion issues people come up with, I think that's specific usage. Some people love to have motion interpolation. They love to use those features. And if it doesn't work as well for them, as they might get rid of it for that reason. Well, I'm glad you're loving it, Lynn. Thank you for saying hi. And guys, don't let those two idiots, whoever it is, ruin the vibe in here. You know, let's get past that. Get past that. And Shamar, the haters got to hate, man. That's their job. That's what they're here for. Let's see where we are. The problem is that I see that on the chat. Let's see. Let's see. Obviously, you being a TV enthusiast, you all get TVs all the time, but what do you feel is a good upgrade time frame? I have an X930. This is Ali. I bought 2017. Yeah, I mean, that's a decent time frame, Ali, actually. You know, 4 or 5 years. The 930E was a special TV. Very bright, very saturated, beautiful panel. So I would say, Ali, it's size and functionality. If you need HDMI 2.1 and you want a larger TV, that's where you have to kind of go with it. But if you're happy with it and you don't need HDMI 2.1 and you don't need what comes with that, I would stay with it. But it's really more about functionality. So here's MC68. Here we go. I've had a nutty experience with C1, 65-inch. I returned full of 9. Wow. Best Buy due to pink tint. The tint is visible in certain games. The pink tint is the Evo panel, my friend, unfortunately. You're going to notice the pink tint typically off angle, but if you see it on angle, then yeah, I'd bring it back. I'm looking for it on my 83. If I don't see a lot of it, I'll get rid of mine too. I'm sorry you're seeing that. Yeah, MC, well, they should be good with it, you know. But that's just keep in mind that that pink tint is inherent to the technology. It's an Evo panel. Truth bites. I cannot get HDR to work in game mode on my PC with the R6. Try the settings in Windows. Try enabling it within Windows, my friend. Let's see. Josh, is the Z9J 83-inch meant to have hands-free Google Assistant my TV? I actually don't know. I'm sorry, buddy. What the hands-free Google stuff, I have no idea. IRL trolls are a sign of success. If you don't got them, you're doing something wrong. Oh, believe me, I've had them since the beginning. But, all right, guys, we're at 10 after 6. We're going to shut it down because we're going to get you guys over to FOMO, who is covering Robert and D-Nice. If you guys have any other questions for me, 83 of us still in here, which I am very impressed with because honestly, guys, a channel my size to have 80-something people in it is pretty amazing. It really does show how you know, how great a community you guys are. Kung Fu Kenny Highlander is one of the best movies ever made, man. One of the best movies ever made. Excellent movie. Totally original. Just the first one, though. I don't watch anything else. Very original film. So we're going to click off. Let's just say right now it's 10 after 6. We're going to go another 5 minutes. And what I like to do at the end of my live streams is just kind of sign off and say goodbye to everybody. So if you're dropping out of the chat, just say what's up, say hello. Terry, take it easy. Again, picture that movie theater experience where I don't like to just click off. I want to say goodbye to you guys and answer any last minute questions. 70 left. Thank you, Craig. Craig, ask some questions, man. You're in here watching. Say what's up. Actually, Black Mantle, I did enjoy the TV series. Jason, I have tried it. I like it. The problem with me with 1080p at 120 is on a large panel. It doesn't look great. Take care, Lynn. Take it easy, Paul. I'll see you this week. Don't tell me you'll talk to me real soon. You're going to see me this week. Yeah, that's why you put the real soon. Lynn, thank you. Hasselhoff, take it easy, buddy. Got 67 left. We got about 5 minutes. Don't. My pleasure, Ali. After you guys click off, if you want to check out FOMO, who's right now with Robert and D-Nice talking about, talking about the Z9J. We'll do more of these live streams. I know they're not always focused, but they're just me chilling. Evan, I use AudioQuest, Craig, but basically any HDMI cords really are fine if you're not using really, really long lengths. So the Amazon HDMI 2.1 are great. But the ones I have are these AudioQuest Pearl. They're very expensive, though, but they're very good. My pleasure, Dennis. My pleasure. Young, take care. Evan, take it easy. Brandon, have a great night in the UK, my friend. 58 left. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me tonight. I had a blast. Really enjoyed it. We did almost 3 hours, so we're about 5 minutes short of 3 hours. Guys, just say bye on the way out the door so I can give you the love you deserve. Brainwaves, much love. Dennis, much love. Craig, much love. Evan, much love. Black Mantle. Jason, my pleasure. Anything you need, let me know. Brainwaves, take care. Oh, nice. There you go. You know what you're talking about, Craig. Yeah, that's great. Audio Quest Vodka was named, what they called the vodka back in the day. Robert just gave me a 10-foot pearl, black pearl, something, Audio Quest cable. They're very nice. Favorite Batman would be, I guess, The Dark Knight, though I love Batman Begins. Yep. 57. Was gluten-free? Gluten-free.
You bought them.
I know. I know I did. All right, guys, I'm going to call it. It is 6:15. Head on over to FOMO. Jake, great talking to you, buddy. You'll see the C1 next week. Head on over to FOMO, see how him and Robert are doing. Love you guys. Have a great night. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for your friendship, for just being an awesome community. And thanks for spending some time with me on Sunday. All right. Love you guys. Take care.